Lagos, Nigeria, and across the globe, SOUQ News TV is your #1 station focusing on business, economy, and development. With global digital reach, we connect Africa's pulse to the world stage. Welcome to SOUQ News Television, and here we go beyond the headlines, from breaking news, in-depth conversational programs, to market analysis and indices. From policies affecting growth to unique documentaries, from live event coverage to bespoke productions, we deliver content that connects you to the world. At SOUQ News Television, we provide news surrounding business, economy, and development, infomercials and jingles that stand out, short and long-form documentaries crafted to international standards, independent production spaces with full technical support, special coverage for individual and corporate events, a special form of documentaries through our prestige package, Immortals, where we tell your story the way you'd love it, and business support services tailored for small enterprises. SOUQ News TV, powered by FemiWatch Limited, also home to the Isle 95.9 FM Lagos and Kasua 99.7 FM Kano, and Emirate News Television Abuja, together forming Africa's trusted media powerhouse. Storytelling, coverage, and connection that matters. SOUQ News TV, your home for business, economy, and development.
We've got just what you need right here at FemiWatch Media. Call it the Midas touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Housing infrastructure as a driver of economic growth. In virtually every nation, the discourse on economic growth often revolves around output, foreign investment, technology, and human capital development. Yet, one element that remains underexplored but profoundly fundamental is housing infrastructure. Housing is more than shelter. It is an economic commodity, a social stabilizer, and a catalyst for development. From job creation to stimulating demand in allied industries, and from serving as collateral for wealth creation to enabling urban renewal, housing infrastructure stands at the heart of sustainable economic advancement. At the core of modern economies, housing represents both a consumption good and an investment asset. For households, it is often the most valuable property they own. For governments, housing development is a visible marker of social responsibility, while for economies, it serves as a growth engine with multiplier effects across sectors. According to Bayo Olaoye, veteran journalist with SOUQ News Television, well-planned housing infrastructure is not just about erecting buildings. When integrated with urban planning, it prevents slum expansion, enhances livability, and boosts productivity. World Bank estimates show that the real estate and construction sector contributes between 7% and 14% of global GDP, depending on the region. In advanced economies, such as United States, housing-related activities, construction, real estate, mortgage finance, home improvement, and property services are major drivers of employment and wealth creation. In emerging economies like Nigeria, housing contributes about 3.1% of GDP, though with vast untapped potential. Its influence cuts across financial markets, labor absorption, raw material demand, and energy consumption patterns. One of the clearest pathways through which housing drives growth is job creation. Development requires diverse skilled and unskilled labor, from architects and engineers to masons, electricians, and artisans. The construction phase alone is labor-intensive and generates immediate employment. Beyond that, housing stimulates growth in allied sectors such as cement, steel, timber, and glass. Industries producing furniture, interior decor, and home appliances thrive as household spending increases, while financial institutions expand their mortgage and insurance portfolios. The International Labour Organization, ILO, estimates that each housing unit constructed generates between 5 and 7 jobs, depending on project complexity. In countries grappling with high youth unemployment, this represents a powerful avenue for labor absorption and poverty reduction. Furthermore, housing facilitates wealth accumulation and capital formation. Unlike consumer goods that depreciate, housing retains or increases in value. For many households, home ownership is the foundation of financial security and upward mobility. Housing assets also serve as collateral for credit, driving entrepreneurship and industrial growth. However, in many developing nations, underdeveloped housing finance systems limit credit access, stifling broader economic potential. Expanding housing infrastructure can therefore deepen financial systems, democratize wealth, and strengthen the foundation for inclusive growth. As the United Nations projects that nearly 70% of the global population will live in urban areas by 2050, nations like Nigeria must treat housing as a strategic tool for urban renewal and sustainable development. Cities with adequate housing attract investment, foster innovation, and enhance livability, while poor housing conditions breed overcrowding, insecurity, and economic inefficiency. In essence, housing infrastructure is not merely about buildings, it's about building economies. I'm Moyosore Adibi, SOUQ News TV.
Corners of Nigeria's rainforest and backyard gardens, a silent economy is crawling its way into the future, one shell at a time. It doesn't make noise, but it makes money. Welcome to the world of snail farming, a slow but sure cash craft with big returns. This is Cashcraft, and I remain Grace Komalafe. Snails, especially the Achatina species, are rich in protein, iron, calcium, and have growing demand in Europe, America, and across West Africa. Yet, Nigeria, despite its climate advantage, still imports processed snail products to meet market demands. Are you kidding? We sure don't have to import everything, right? Do you agree? So that works if you and I chooses to take the bull by its horn. The government's first policy approval is one step in the right direction. Are you aware that with a startup of 100,000 naira, a farmer can begin with 100 snails and scale within 6 to 9 months? The export market is wide open. Beyond the meat, snail slime, yes, that growing trail is in high demand in cosmetic industry. A liter sells between 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira, with buyers ranging from skincare brands to pharmaceutical labs. And here is the beauty. Snails are low maintenance. They feed on kitchen waste, require minimal space, and reproduce rapidly in the right conditions. With proper care, one snail can lay up to 400 eggs in a year. Local sales in Lagos, Ibadan, and Port Harcourt already show promising profits. A matured snail sells between 500 naira to 1,500 naira, depending on size and species. But the real gold mile is export. Dried and frozen snail meats fetches higher prices in Europe, especially among Afro-Caribbean stores. As Nigeria's youth search for dignified income streams, snail farming offers an eco-friendly, capable, and sustainable path to wealth. Quiet but consistent, slow but rewarding. It's not just livestock, it's low-risk capital in a shell. Starting a snail business, whether rearing or selling, can be a profitable and low-risk venture, especially in regions like ours, Africa, where there is growing demand. Now, here are essential tips to guide you. 1. Decide your business model. You want to rear? Snail rearing means raising snails from hatchlings to maturity or sale. It could be meat or breeding. Now we'll go to 2 in that model, which is snail trading, by buying snails from farmers and reselling at retail or wholesale levels. And the 3rd in the model is value addition, by processing snails, which means you clean up, you package, or you frozen it, making snail oil or slime. 4 cosmetics. All of that are put together. Just decide which one you want to go for. 2, choose the right species for rearing. Choose fast-growing, highly reproductive, and climate-tolerant species like Achatina, the giant Ghana snail, Achatina fulica, Achatina marginata, commonly preferred in Nigeria. We move to 3. Understand the market. Visit local markets to assess demand and pricing. Identify your target, like restaurants, individuals, exporters, or cosmetic companies. We quickly move to 4. Get proper training. Learn the basics of snail biology, like feeding, housing, and health management. Attend short courses, join snail farming cooperatives, or follow credible online platforms. 5. Prepare a suitable environment for rearing, like housing. Use pens, boxes, trenches, or free-range setups. Ensure they are escape-proof. Okay? Now, soil. Moist, loamy soil is ideal. Shade and humidity. Protect snails from direct sunlight and maintain a humid environment. Cleanliness. Prevent fungi, ants, and pests with regular checks. Step 6. Feeding. Snails eat vegetables, fruits, leaves, and kitchen waste like pawpaw, watermelon, cocoyam, lettuce, and all of that. Provide calcium-rich foods like crushed eggshells or strong shell growth. Now we quickly move to 7, which is sourcing capital and stock. Start small and scale gradually by herding matured breeders from reputable farms. And now, number 8, keep records. Track feeding, mortality, breeding, and sales to understand performance and profitability. 9, register your business. Yes, it is important that you register your business with relevant authorities if going commercial. Explore cooperatives or government agricultural support programs. That's a very key one for your business validation and all. Again, do not forget that this is a wake-up call, not a professional advice. Seeing an expert will go a long way. And the number 10, which is the last, is marketing. Use word of mouth, social media, and local markets. Offer home delivery or bulk discounts. Educate consumers on snail health benefits. Yes, it has high protein and low fat. Stop thinking, just act now. The future of farming isn't just fast, it's smart. And in the snail business, slow and steady wins the cash. I am Grace Komalafe. See you again.
The story of Ile-Ife. Ile-Ife, often described as the spiritual heart of the Yoruba people, is not just a city, it is the cradle of identity, civilization, and belief for millions across West Africa. Located in present-day Osun State, Ile-Ife is revered in Yoruba tradition as the place where life began and where the gods descended to create the earth. Archaeological findings, however, suggest the city's origins date back to between the 8th and 11th centuries CE, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited urban centers in sub-Saharan Africa. According to Yoruba mythology, Oduduwa is regarded as the progenitor of the Yoruba race and the first ruler of Ile-Ife. Oral traditions say he founded the kingdom, from which many Yoruba monarchs trace their descent. His legacy symbolizes unity and divine kingship among the Yoruba. Centuries later, under the reign of Obalufon II, believed to have ruled in the 14th century, Ile-Ife experienced a golden era marked by exceptional artistic and technological achievements. This period produced the world-famous Ife bronze and terracotta heads, celebrated for their realism and craftsmanship. Scholars have described these artifacts as evidence of an advanced mythological culture that rivaled any in medieval Europe or Asia. Recent archaeological discoveries at Igbo Olokun near Ile-Ife revealed ancient glass bead production sites, one of the earliest in sub-Saharan Africa. The finds, led by researchers such as Professor Adisa Ogunfolakon and Dr. Babalola Abidemi, confirm that the people of Ife were skilled innovators in trade and material science. Beyond its material legacy, Ile-Ife remains a sacred and living symbol of Yoruba spirituality. Its monarch, the Ooni of Ife, is still regarded as a custodian of tradition and a spiritual bridge between the people and their ancestral heritage. According to Bayo Laoye, a veteran journalist with SOUQ News Television, the story of Ile-Ife is not merely about the past, but about continuity. Ife tells us how knowledge, art, and belief shaped the destiny of a people. It is a reminder that civilization in Africa didn't begin with contact from outside. It grew from within. Today, Ile-Ife continues to attract scholars, tourists, and spiritual pilgrims from around the world, all drawn by the enduring mystery of the source. I'm Moyosore Adebi for SOUQ News TV.
The bank was totally gone, so there was nothing to say they had. But we still approached them and said we would like to take over this bank. The journey since 1997 has been one thing or the other, and I'm happy that many years down the line we look back and we're happy that we're audacious and bold to make them move at the time. That's why today in UBA, perseverance, resilience is a core virtue, a core attribute, a core value of ours, because we apply that early on in this journey. So that's how it all started.
Leadership, according to some Peters, entails vision, enthusiasm, trust, verve, passion, and consistency. If there's one man who graciously combines these virtues, the name Tony Elumelu comes to mind.
They say that success to a large extent is dependent on being at the right place at the right time. I say to people, my elder brother, who is 7 years older than me, he doesn't have gray hair. I have gray hair. My gray hair started from the merger, because making it work, serving your customers, making sure that everyone in the universe of the institution, which was 428 branches at the time, that it was same level of service across board. Customers of standard trust bank that were used to a certain level of self-delivery, you will not want them to come to the new institution and have a drop.
From the womb of time, Tony Elumelu has been an embodiment of nobility and excellence. He remains one of the flying eagles and shining eggheads of the banking industry. The life and times of Tony is an inspiring tale. He is one Nigeria who is unmoved by material wealth and self-aggrandizement. Tony's noble qualities were earned from his humble background. Growing up with 4 siblings in Jos Plateau State, the cowboy of the banking industry who hails from Anocha North local government area of Delta State, believed in the democratization of law combined with hard work. He began his career as a copier salesman. The Ambrose Ali University graduate of economics also bagged a master's degree in economics from the University of Lagos. In 2019, he received an honorary Doctor of Business degree from Bayero University, Kano.
Going to university, I just thought I wanted to be a businessman because my mom's brother, my mom and his brother were just 2 of them. So my uncle was a businessman, in Nigeria, and was quite successful at the time. And I was influenced. I thought he was very rich and also I wanted to be a businessman, but not knowing whether, just a businessman, you know what I mean? Because he was described then as a businessman. And but in the university, that was why I read economics, you know, just to see. But in university, I got more enlightened because I knew more how things operated. And first degree, I was saying I just wanted a good job that would give me the start. But when I came to do my master's at Unilag, you know, being in urban or Unilag, you know, a lot happening at the time. And that was the era of new generation banks, a lot happening. Our friends, you know, in banking, our friends, some got jobs in some banks. And so that's all of us who were doing masters at the time. I did masters in economics. Who were doing masters at the time, we just became interested and fascinated. We were interested in working in a bank. New generation bank, not old generation bank, not. And so that was how it all started. And we started applying for jobs in our banks. And I got, yes, at the master's level, it was clear I wanted to work in a bank. And yes, that was started. As in then, you know, Santana was a posh guy. So we the oppressors in school, I must say. And then we too wanted to become the big boys in future with the brochures, suspenders, white shirt, dark suits, etc.
The growth and development of any institution is determined by the quality of its leadership. For Tony Elumelu, his sterling performance and leadership scorecard in the banking industry remains a reference point. He rose quickly to become the youngest bank branch manager at Allstate Trust Bank at the age of 36. He formed a coalition to acquire a distressed financial institution, Crystal Bank, and became its CEO, an action that earned him and his circle of peers the nickname the Cowboys of banking.
In 1997, some of us came together and acquired a distressed financial institution. We acquired the distressed financial institution, we turned it around, we set targets for ourselves, strategic plans, that, you know, targets, you know, the first year strategic intent, we want to make it a viable financial services company. Second year intent, we want to become a leading financial services group on the continent. And third financial intent is a strategic intent to become a player in the global financial arena. As we all know, there's so much private global capital seeking the right investment destination. All it takes is for a leadership to show that this country is set for business and people come there. We want to move into an economy where they can invest freely as well as move their monies out when it comes for time for dividend and remittances and repatriation of a dividend. So I will continue to invest because of the signal that we see in the market, because of certain fundamentals that are right.
He audaciously led the largest merger in Africa between United Bank of Africa and Standard Trust Bank. Tony's fancy for red tie remains emblem of his appearance. He retired as CEO of United Bank for Africa in 2010. He is presently the chairman of Heirs Holdings, the United Bank for Africa, Transcorp, and founder of the Tony Elumelu Foundation.
I can't express how excited I am in words to be here and to be selected among the 1,000.
It's the opportunity for me to realize my dreams. So I go into business and start to make my way.
It challenges you to do things you never thought you could do.
Maybe if you'd have gone to a private school or an MBA, you must have paid a lot to get this kind of, you know, enlightenment.
Ça me fait plaisir de voir des frères et sœurs qui veulent se rencontrer, se connaître, les partager et créer un réseau, peut-être le plus grand réseau africain.
Venho de Cabo Verde.
Je suis tunisien.
Je viens de la République du Bénin.
I'm from Edo State, Nigeria.
I'm from Ghana.
Zimbabwe.
Sudan.
From Rwanda.
Gabon. Uganda.
Senegal.
Niger.
I'm from the Gambia.
Welcome and thank you for coming to Lagos. I'd like to start by congratulating all of you. You have done well. Most entrepreneurs are creative people. They have creative mindset. They're innovative. Those who dare to dream and who dare to innovate. in Africa should have the opportunity to prove their innovation. And that is why we have $10,000 for these 10,000 Africans to help prove their concept and prepare them for bigger scale financial support. We don't give because we see it as a moral burden to just give charity. But we want to give people because we want to uplift them. We want them to be self-reliant. We want them to be fishermen. We want them to do what we are doing. We want them to prosper in life, become successful.
Tony made a tremendous contribution to giving back to the society. His selfless efforts and huge investment into humanity through the Tony Elumelu Foundation is widely admired as the leading philanthropy empowering a new generation of African entrepreneurs, driving poverty eradication, catalyzing job creation across all 54 African countries, and increasing women economic empowerment. Since the launch of the entrepreneurship program in 2015, the foundation has trained over 1.5 million young Africans on its digital hub. Tony, the Nigerian economist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, holds the Nigerian National Honors, the Commander of the Order of Nigeria, CON, a member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR. He has been responsible for creating business that are critical to Africa's economic development. He is a proponent of Africa capitalism, an economic philosophy which advocates for the private sector's commitment to Africa's development through long-term investment in strategic sectors of the economy that drive economic prosperity and social wealth award. He was awarded the Daily Times the Nigerian Man of the Year in 2016. He was honored with the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2019. He is also on the list of Time magazine's 100 most influential people of 2020. On October 11, 2022, Elumelu received the National Honor of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tony, as a staunch professional and chairman of Foremost Bank, may understandably runs a busy daily schedule like that of a bee, but he balances the equation with creating time for sports. His love for lawn tennis and football stands undeniable.
My good workout is, I think I would say that I like to jump on the sport. I love yoga, as you said. Yeah. But these days I'm trying to get in the group of planking.
Tony is not just a champion in the banking hall. He equally balances the equation when it comes to family life.
For me, as a family man, though, I try to make sure I balance things. I try to make sure my family side is not so. In that process, I was also growing a family, having my kids and co. So, but everything came together.
Tony is happily married to Awele Vivian Elumelu, who is the chairperson of Harvey Medical Practice Limited. Vivian also oversees the healthcare investment of US Holdings. She holds a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of Benin. The marriage was consummated in 1993 and blessed with 7 children. According to Forbes' list, Tony is among the top 10 richest entrepreneurs in Nigeria with a net worth estimated at $1 billion.
We don't just preach. We don't just theorize, we practice.
Tony has stooped to conquer not just in the banking industry, but in life. The strides of this living legend, popularly referred to as the Lion of Africa's financial industry, remains iconic.
So entrepreneurs who are listening, quick one, short one, straight to the point. Entrepreneurship is a long-term journey. Stop seeing it as a short-term goal. Long-term journey. Great companies, great and accomplished entrepreneurs did not make it in 1 year. They didn't make it in 3 years. It's a long-term journey. So moving, dare to dream, implement your dream, and stay focused.
Congratulations on the new channel, and I'm happy to be here. The Omniverse is imagined as a collaboration platform. So it's a platform that, as the name suggests, is bringing together ecosystems. So it's like an ecosystem of ecosystems, aggregating aggregators and community leaders who are able to bring together their communities together to a platform. So the summit in itself was, well, it was a big event and a heavy lift for us and the team. And I have to thank our team of volunteers. We had a team of about 40 full-time core volunteers that delivered the Omniverse. So one of the key things about the Omniverse is that it's designed to go beyond an event and designed to be fully something that people can engage beyond the summit. So we will be launching our digital platform. We have about 70 community partners already, including a number of government institutions. So to answer the question, there's public-private partnership within the Omniverse. There's regulators, there's government departments and agencies, there's ministries. But more importantly, there's diverse sectors across the economy coming together with the understanding that tech is the biggest enabler for development across all sectors, and that if we can drive collaboration, we can scale. So that's the ethos of the Omniverse. Collaboration is the superpower that we're trying to bring to the fore. That operating in silos has not paid us, but if we come together, understand that technology affects every sector, then we think the Omniverse is here to stay. Nigerian companies, Nigerian associations, global associations, and when I say associations, it's from things like the Nigerian digital artists who have 3,000 members, right, in the NFT community, the Visual Artists of Nigeria, the Society of Nigerian Art, the AfriLabs, which is the biggest innovation hub network on the continent in 54 African countries, ISN Hubs, which is our core partner, which is the biggest innovation network in Nigeria, innovation support network, with something like 189 hubs in 30 states in Nigeria. And these are primarily private sector-driven platforms, from aggregators who are major promoters of major platforms such as Lola Shone from Ake Book Festival, Choma Ode from AFRIF. We have a lot of these people who are either on our advisory board, they are co-chairs, or they are community partners, because what we're building is beyond any one person. It's about collaboration both at the top level, but through the line down to the bottom. The role of my council is, first of all, to be the primary sort of mandate is to infuse Nigerian arts and culture into everything the Nigerian government does, at state level, at federal level, and to input it into schools, education, and everywhere. So in that sense, to make arts and culture functional and front line everywhere. This will involve the foreign minister, making sure it's embedded in our foreign policy, in our embassies, in the government policy, in every sector. So we're literally going to be reaching out to collaborate to all government at all levels, all other agencies, MDAs, ministries, federal government and state government institutions, to see how we can find common ground. Because obviously we don't necessarily have a lot of money, but I feel we represent the real crude oil of Nigeria, which is the IP that the Nigerian people create. That IP they create, even if you valued it at $100 per Nigerian, that'd be something like $20 billion. And I believe each Nigerian is worth more than $100. So my own estimation, it's limitless, right? So what we have to do is we have to rethink how we imagine ourselves, rethink our own possibilities, and therefore from there, take off by pushing that agenda. But it's not an agenda for me alone. It's actually an agenda for all of Nigeria. Because when we put it front and center, it means we're putting the Nigerians front and center. And we put the Nigerians front and center, I think we win. I think historically you will find that the federal government and the governments of Nigeria have not funded heavily these sectors. They funded the heavy industries, the military-industrial complex, heavy infrastructure. But the funny thing is, whilst Africans will say, oh, this is grammar, what are you people talking about in arts and culture? What you find is that the West, right, for 500 years has dominated the world. How have they dominated the world? Through narrative. Okay, but what do we complain about? Narrative. But we haven't invested in narrative. So if you don't invest in telling your own story and owning your own story, why are you complaining about how you're perceived? So I think it's counterintuitive, and it's about time. And I'm very pleased and very happy that Nigeria now has a full ministry focused on this one specific issue. Because the truth of the matter is, we are older than time itself. We come before Christ. We come before the entire Western hegemony. We are actually the origins of everything, of innovation, of technology, of science, of education. But if we don't believe it ourselves and we don't express it, how can you expect anybody else to believe it? Well, I think the difference is that as a creative entrepreneur, there's really nothing to stop me, right? I can take all the risks. I don't have to worry about anything. I can decide, win or lose, we're doing this thing. But of course, as a public official, I have rules and regulations I have to go by. I have a boss, I report to people, and I have KPIs I have to deliver on. So there's a difference in that regard. There's a difference in bureaucracy, maybe a difference in response time, but there certainly will not be a difference in my personality. So I think it's really about how you perceive what these things are. For me, it's an elevation, obviously, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to serve at this level, to do something that I believe in, to do something which is that I believe in Nigeria. I believe in Nigerians. I know our ability. I think we are world class. I don't like all this, it's good for Nigeria. I hate that. So I think for me, that is what's important. And to have the opportunity to try to deliver on some of the things we've been trying to do from the private sector for the last 25, 30 years. So there's nothing new for me in that regard. But of course, the position is new. Being in the government is new. But with a lot of support from friends, family, professional colleagues, and other people in the industry, plus my co-DGs and the minister, hopefully we'll do well. We're under the Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy, and that's very, very powerful because it means Nigeria itself has taken a decision to own the agenda. Hopefully I have a good time, have a good tenure, and I don't make any enemies. And well, for me, if you leave a place and the people that worked with you have good things to say, if they feel better about their work and about themselves, and if the brand that you're now leading is now appreciated by the people for what it does and how it brings it to the table, then I've done my job. I think Afrobeats has already established the fact that we are originally Nigerian, or some people say arrogantly Nigerian. And it was intentional. We built this thing, and it was intentional because we're not going to ever apologize for being Nigerian. We're not going to apologize for being black. We're not going to apologize for being African. And that's front of mind because, you know, when you do show business, you have to validate it. So we validated the show maybe at least 10 years ago. So now we're in the business phase. So when you see the exit of Maven Records with UMG, you see Iwaju coming, Comic Republic with Universal Studios, you begin to understand where we're building to. And when you think about where we're coming from, where there was no infrastructure, no funding, no support, and I think part of what we hope to do with government at this time is, because we come from the sector, we can collaborate with everybody in the sector. We don't have to talk at them, we talk with them, we build with them, and together I think it's limitless. You know, Nigerians like to say the sky is your limit. I think it's limitless. There's no limit to the whole situation. One of the things I talk about all the time is what's the difference between Thor and Shango? Thor is approaching $50 billion in revenue. Shango's broke somewhere outside Lagos. And that's a lack of imagination on our part. That's a lack of us delving into the richest thing we have, which is our mythology. Our mythology is endless. If you look at the Marvel universe and the DC Comics universe, the Orisha are basically the same thing as the X-Men. But the Orisha, some people are still afraid of them, whereas the X-Men are north of $100 billion in revenue. So I think we have to understand and reimagine our mythology, our history, our stories, and how to bring them to the world in new formats. It's not just film. It could be live action. It could be gaming. There's so many different ways to action these things. And when you do them, and you do them right at the right level, as Iwaju is beginning to show you, our stories have always been world-class. Our characters are world-class. What we have not had is the resolve and the confidence to finish. I think that is coming now. For me, I think it's still the fact there's more to do. My young brother, Misan Harriman, is nominated at the Oscars, the first Nigerian nominated for a director for a short film, because I know what that will do for the next generation of Nigerian directors, right? So for me, there's still more to do. There's so much more to do. When we see our first $100 million movie in the global box office, we need to celebrate it. When you win a Grammy, you need to celebrate it, because these are stages that we were locked out of. The technology and new media has allowed us to evade these spaces we were not even invited to. But now we're beginning to enter them and dominate. So even when you do that, you have to do it with grace and dignity, not with arrogance. And that's something that some of us have to learn. But the truth of the matter is, the greatness of the Nigerians is just beginning to come. And I feel strongly that this century, we're already in the African century, and the soft power that we hold here is what will define the future of the century. I think the most important thing, the first thing to think about is IP protection, because the minister is working strongly, intellectual property. The US, if you take the state of California, California is probably in the top 5 economies in the world, and 70% of the economy of California is driven by intellectual property, by 2 core industries: Silicon Valley, which is coming out of Stanford University, and Hollywood, which of course is the music and film industry. Now, that is for anybody that says, oh, what is this thing that they're talking about? We don't understand it. It's grammar. The grammar is the money, okay? The narrative is the money. The story is the money. So any of your children or your nieces or nephews that have talent, visual art, performing art, arts and crafts, adire, all of these things that we've been taking as vocation, they are occupations. They are extremely valuable. And with digital technology and platforms, we can scale these things and generate incredible revenue. The point being that Nigeria has so much to bring to the world in terms of these things. I think Nigerian cuisine is going to be on the level of Chinese and Indian cuisine worldwide in the next 10 years. And if you understand that, then you understand that the Indian restaurants in the UK, as far back as 2009, were generating more money than the UK automobile, shipping, and metal, steel industries combined. That's just restaurants on the high streets. So that is why we must invest and we must put our energy into this sector, because this sector will provide the jobs, provide the revenues, and provide the global dollars that everybody's looking for. Oh, I think it hasn't even started. The Maven Records deal is giving you an indication of that. The reason why that valuation of $150 to $200 million has been done is because of the upside potential of Rema, who's 23, and Arya Star, who's 20. So they're looking at the fact that in 10 years' time, these guys could have generated $1 billion each. Do you understand? So it's a safe bet when you already have a built global talent at 23, when it normally takes years and years and a lot of money to build the talent, right? So what has happened is that we Nigerians have been able to build global talents, global following, with a percentage of the money it takes people in other places to do the same thing. So because of that, the value and the valuation is much bigger, right? So I would say the Afrobeats wave, it's not even a wave. It's been going for 15 years already. So when you encounter it is when you encounter it. If you think it's an overnight success in 2024, that means you were not around in 2008. 2006, I'd say, is a good time to think, when the sort of continental, because we took Africa first, working very closely and collaboratively with South Africans, Ghanaians, and Kenyans. Then we started going into Asia and the UK and America on the black, what I call the Nigerian chitlin circuits, moving through the Nigerian communities. And then by about 2010, begin to come into the mainstream with Oliver Twist and all these kind of records that break globally. And now you have gold records from Oliver Twist in 14 countries. And now, in a situation now where an artist like Ashake can come out of Lagos, speaking a language that is not known to most of these people, and generating, selling out arenas. To become an arena artist, let me tell you, there are only 4 or 5 arena artists from Africa, and they're all Nigerian. Don't take it for granted. I think a lot of people feel that, but what I should tell the rest of the country is that the rest of the continent is also trying to get to Lagos as well, right? It's not just the rest of Nigeria. From Accra, from Luanda, from everywhere on this continent, they're trying to get into Lagos, because if they can break in Lagos, they can break anywhere else in the world. But what I would say is this, from the perspective of my agency, our purview is national and global. We have 10 regional offices. We'll be visiting all of them. And our duty is to spotlight and showcase everybody. So we can't deal with just Lagos. And I think as we go forward, people begin to see the activations and plans coming. But the easiest way to do it, and the way we're going to do our best to do it, is to provide digital platforms to give everybody the opportunity to be seen. Because in this world, you know, we live in the attention economy. So to be seen and to be noticed is very hard if you're not in the place where all the noise is being made. But I know for a fact there's significant talent in all parts of Nigeria. I was watching last week, a gentleman called Ehi Benite was showing me all this content from Jos with these guys rapping, serious stuff. They're rapping in Hausa, they were doing ciphers. And then he was like, what do we do about these guys? I said, just keep pushing them, because there's an audience for everything. There's an audience for everything. Don't be worried about that. There's an audience for every single thing, including the thing that you may be doing in your bedroom, but you think is not important. Somebody's interested in it. My label was a hip-hop label. I even refused to sign singers. There's almost every singer you could name was trying to get us to sign them. And I used to do it based on, can you rap? If you can't drop a freestyle, don't bother, right? It was that simple. And we helped all the other singers get signed to labels that we thought could help them and develop them in that direction. Hip-hop has changed, and obviously it's generational, right? So hip-hop has changed, and you know, everybody approaches music from their own generation. Like, oh, I like this kind of hip-hop or that kind of hip-hop. What I feel is that Afrobeats became overwhelming, and it overwhelmed every other genre here. So the hip-hop guys had to fight for relevance, but the best ones always rise to the top. That's just the simple truth. So I don't worry about that. And I've heard enough guys. I even saw there was a whole Instagram series some guy was doing about a year ago, where he was just bringing out fresh rappers every day, from Enugu, from Jos, from Kaduna, from Kano, from Benin. I love it. I think there are incredible MCs in Nigeria. A lot of times they need to focus on doing better songs, right? Not just being a freestyle rapper. If you want to get paid to rap, you've got to do better songs. You can't just do the freestyles. And that's something they've got to think about. You've got to balance the commercial side of it with the business side of it. And what has happened is, to a large extent, the commercial side has won because you've got to pay bills. But hip-hop, it never dies. I think, first of all, obviously from the perspective of I'm sitting in government, so I'm not in a position to tell government what to do or what not to do. But what I can say is this, is that the agency, my agency will be the home for the music industry, for performing arts, visual arts, fashion, gaming, recreation, festivals, culinary arts, film and television. We're kind of a convening agency for the ministry. So we have a lot of work to do, a lot of places to touch, but we're also going to collaborate with all the other MDAs in the ministry and heavily with the private sector and the developmental sector. Because to answer the question, I've worked in all these spaces for, it's not quite 40 years, but it's a long time. I've worked in all these spaces for a long time. In the institution, we have positive relationships to bring to the table to change the approach and to change the destination of where we hope to go. What I will say as well is that the reality of it is we're just beginning the journey. And there are no magic wands. I'm not going to wave a wand and everything's going to be fixed overnight, and neither is anybody else. But we will be bringing fresh energy, fresh ideas, a fresh engagement, and we're obviously open to collaboration. And that's really important for me to say that, because people feel there are gatekeepers, but in my agency, there are no gatekeepers, right? We're not interested in whether you have the biggest reputation or the smallest reputation. We're interested in the value you're bringing to the table, because the truth of the matter is Nigeria is massive. There's a lot of stuff going on in Nigeria. We're going to try to aggregate those things and bring them into one platform, so that even as Nigerians, we can know what we're doing. Because to be honest, if you don't know and you don't follow, there's no way you can know 90% of what is happening even in Lagos before you talk about the rest of the 36 states in the FCT. So for me, from my perspective, the journey continues. The objective remains the same. We want to see Nigeria win, but in order to do it this time, I don't think government should ever be disinterested in the nature of the industries in which it is operating. But we also don't need to be owning the space. We want to enable, partner, collaborate, and see how we can push people to do more. Because there are already people doing a lot, and maybe they haven't been recognized, they haven't been brought out, they haven't been celebrated. All these kind of things we can help to do, help to get news stories and people to bring these things to the fore, right? Like I said today, a Nigerian who was nominated for an Oscar as a director, the first Nigerian. It's up tonight at the Oscars. It's not news in Nigeria. That's a problem. We have to be able to tell the stories that are of greatness of our people, because if you don't do that, you can't inspire anybody.
Fellow Nigerians, did you know that constituency and executive projects in your communities are not gifts from your legislators? They are projects sponsored by the legislators and funded by the federal government to improve your life and the lives of those around you. These projects belong to you. Without your vigilance, they might never be completed. Don't allow them to fade away into unfulfilled promises. Stand up, take ownership, monitor their progress, demand accountability, and report concerns to ICPC. Call our toll-free line now on 0800-2255-4272 or WhatsApp only on 0806-656-4726. This message is brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, with support from MacArthur Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Development in Africa, CDD.
I hail from Lagos State, from Isaleko. My father hailed from the Olumegbo family. I attended my primary, secondary education in Ibadan at the time because my mother was there. But my religious practicing was always done during the holidays at Holy Cross Cathedral. I was working in the sacristy. We used to prepare for the Mass on Saturdays, and we sell the news magazine on Sundays in front of the church. And I remembered fondly that we used to tease a man called Sunday Boku Boku at that time, and he used to run to chase us and throw stones at, how dare you call me Sunday Boku Boku. Those were fun times. Harvest, Corpus Christi. And I was born, raised, baptized, confirmed, married in the Catholic Church. But I got married to Engineer Larry Phillips, who is an Anglican. And I believe that in togetherness of family, it's best we all do things together. So I moved over with him against the doctrine of Catholic Church to the Anglican Church at Marina, where his family belongs and worships. I attended St. Luke's Demonstration School. We used to climb the mango trees, and it was a mixed school. We used to play at during break time. And in my secondary school was a Catholic school. And it's for you to be prim and prudish in life and, set you on as a lady. And I got some finesse from there too. And but the most interesting one and the most that I can call a radical one was my HSC in Olivet. We tried all sorts there. But it was fun and highly educative too. Sportsmanship was there. And from there, I proceeded abroad for my accountancy. And I was lucky to finish in a record time. And I came back. Did my articleship, but married in between. I met my husband abroad and we came back home, got married in Nigeria. I worked as an accountant with USC, very proud of the drill professionally that I got from USC. It had set me on a discipline for working. And I thank God that I had that opportunity, which still helps me today. Apart from the fact that my educational background sets me to be a diversified person in so many professions. And as an accountant, accountancy is the best of all, is the creme de la creme. And I've been able to fulfill my professional exposure in every species of responsibilities that I had opportunity to take upon me. And from USC, I proceeded to work for the bank. I went to politics. I became a commissioner in Lagos State, served with the present president of Nigeria. And you know how Lagos is. Lagos is like a country to other states. We went through governance. My team, as you can see, I have some of my colleagues in Abuja now. I have Honorable Minister Wali Edu. I have Honorable Minister Dele Alake. I have Honorable Minister Yemi Cardozo, and so forth. And I served in the bank as a director in Keystone. I've been a chairman of so many committees. You can say that again. In different aspects of life. Professional, political, social, and currently I'm now the chairman of SOUQ Insurance PLC. When I was growing up, it was so free and enjoyable. We can take off at 11, 12, escort your friends to Bangboshe here. We go and have the Mosa. We go to the stadium. I remember me in my teenage age, I used to go to Nikon Stadium here. We watch so many matches, and I used to be with those fans, dancing and waving our fans, and bazaars, Easter Mondays, Fela Sports, you name it. It was fun. But Lagos was good for all of us. It was cleaner. It was amazing. Security isn't much to fear, you know. You can just live the way you want. And money and values of life are completely different to what they are today. I was with my grandparents and we had so many tenants and we didn't realize they were tenants. We were all playing together, eating together, and we are still like one family today. But the story is not the same again. I wish one can turn around and change it, but we have all given our kids sheltered life for the fear of unknown. And I think the disadvantage is very grievous. I think first and foremost, God gave me the chance, the opportunities to pass through that in the journey of life. It's not only money that can make you successful in life. I want you to get that. It's an added support for you if in life you have the opportunities of parents who can financially support you. But at the same time, there are kids who didn't have any financial support and have been successful. So to me, success is about self-determination. I grew up around uncles and aunties who are thoroughly educated, and I've always had it behind my ambition that I must be in that cadre. And thank God the opportunity was there for me and I seized it. And I remember myself telling my kids, when I was abroad, I never lived like my father was a rich man. No. I was behind the desk reading and reading till I got successful. And I passed in record time. First and foremost, I think I'm a people's person. Secondly, my educational background. Thirdly, my pedigree. And you can't be a Lagos person and don't have a bit of intelligence about how you can maneuver yourself, even in the midst of challenges. And I can tell you that boardroom politics, especially when you're a woman, is tough. Well, when you manage those that you sit around with, eventually, when they see that you're there to work, it has no business and basis for any other thing. I've had issues on boards because I'm female, and I put my foot down. It is the work we are doing. There is no gender sensitivity in this issue. Even in my early days as an accountant, when I head the accounting department, it was even tough at that level because the young accounting class, some of them can be daring to say, how can you talk to me like that? How can you make it? And I'll say, please, what do you mean? We need to get this target work done. So it's the work that is talking. That's nothing to do with whether I'm a man or a woman. So I will like the idea of gender reasonableness to be better played. At least for now, we are not having it at 3 1/3, no. But I guess we are in the region of 20%. And it should be better. You give a woman a chance, she will devote her life to it. But, I mean, when we have 1 or 2 issues from women who have been there, that should not create hurdle or boundary that you say a woman shouldn't cross. No. nobody's perfect in life. And I want to let you know, it's tough for a woman. These men, when it is a woman having a corrective measure to be taken, they do not handle it the way they do for the men. They are in a rush to pack the woman out. You see from what has happened all over the world. So I will still make an appeal that women should be given better chances, better allowances. It's so quick to make a woman a scapegoat, the sacrificial lamb. Let's take it easy. And please, women, when they put you there, make us proud. I should remember the other women coming after me. If I make this trouble now, they turn around and say, this is why we don't give them the chance to get to the top. So you manage the situation, you know? And let us remember that Africa is still very chauvinistic. It's still a man's world here. We are only trying. So just give us, for now, our required 33.1% as per Beijing recommendation. Having been in politics, there are so many factors that bring you up there. Some sensible, which I would call sensibilities. Some sensitive based, which I would call sensitivity. And some as per geographical distribution. If it's not the turn of your section, your district, there's no way they can put you there. But then sometimes it's the turn of your district, and the party supremacy decrees that they don't want to use you. What do? You have to show some resilience as a stable character and do whatever you are given very well. Excel. Somehow, one day, you'll be there. Like Martin Luther King. At the end of that tunnel, I can see the light. Someday, somehow, you get there. I was in tourism shortly, and it's not enough time to propagate the excellence of your work. But in special duties, I give the ministry class. I was able to represent my Lagos State very well. NYC was under me. Proudly, I served. And we ensure that all students that need to go to orientation camp are well registered and got their NYC certificates. It's not about where they put you, it's about what you are able to do in that place. And you do it even to the enviable eye of somebody who believes has the best ministry with a lot of funding and allocation. I'm different in that respect. A hard-working man, a man with a lot of sagacity, a man that is very kind, he has human kindness in his heart, a man that is highly focused. My office was very close to the Roundhouse, and I tell you, I wasn't surprised. And I kept telling everybody, I wasn't surprised he got a clinch that position, because I knew that even when in 99, from the day we stepped in, he's been working towards his election in 2003. So a man like that who is focused, his business is the end of the tunnel. all the distractions you are given, it's not, he doesn't consider it. So don't waste your emotions. You know, when you provoke yourself unnecessarily, and the person you are provoking yourself upon is not even responding on that line, you know you're wasting your time. But he's an astute politician. He knows what to do at every point. And don't try him, because he's a hard knock. And he's easy to forgive. That bit, I don't know how he does it, but it's easy to forgive and move on. He understands politics, maybe from a young age, I don't know, but he seems to have the knack of it at all times. I think that's in the pipeline. I don't have to come here to say that. And even in the insurance company industry that I am now, I'm propagating that, look, you need to take it easy. Is it at these hard times you want to recapitalize the industry and make life harder? Yes, recapitalize, but not with large gap. You know, the variance should not be too much, because you need to recapitalize so that companies will be solidly based to address financial issues and risk issues that we have in the country today. I studied religion for my A-levels in school. I did divinity. It's not just reading Bible. The interpretation, the history, the analogy, all of that I did. And it has helped to shape me for life. It has molded my conscience to a large extent. What I see in religion today, if I go back to the way I have studied religion, I will say I'm worried. The way we have churches established in this country now, I'm talking of my experience in Lagos State. On the street, you can find 6, 8 churches, but there is no school. Education is key. Religion molds the character, the moral values about life. I'm not saying they're all totally condemned, but I think there should be more conferences and seminars to appeal to their conscience. It's one God. And in Lagos, the families, both Christian and Muslims, and the third religion, which is the native religion, we all interact and live together. And usually you find out that all of them talking about this God. I am a Christian. I talk about my God. And I don't denounce anyone in any other religion that faithfully talk about their God. And I don't allow that to affect a lot of decisions that I have to make, and didn't affect a lot of decisions that I had made. The expectation is too high. We are still a developing country. The awareness of covering up your risk is not too much there. In terms of life insurance, in terms of property, people are not still there. People don't cover themselves well enough. They take unnecessary risk. I'm glad Lagos State Governor is saying everybody must have a health insurance now. That, again, will expand the scope of the insurance business. In insurance, there are so many seminars, there are so many conferences that are being put up there now, where the ability to educate the masses, and even the high-ups want to please ensure yourself. And when I say yourself, your life, your property, your children, and see how far it goes. It is important. And you know, in this era of insecurity, it is highly important. Just make sure you ensure yourself. And with what the governor had proposed now, definitely Governor Sanwo-Olu did well. Health insurance is key. Health is wealth. First and foremost, inflation all over the world has gone haywire. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Those who live in the Western world, they're crying hula baloo about the price of petrol, the price of even eggs. So it's not just Nigeria. Let us wake up and see that we're in a global world and everything is intertwined. The issue of the central bank now trying to manage inflation, these are not easy times all over the world. They're not easy times. And when I say we are a developing country, we are still trying very hard. I don't want to say it's sad. It depends on the environment. You know, you can't just bring UAE here into Nigeria. The environment here from inception has not delved too much on tourism. Your tourism is just go on holiday and go back. The beaches are there. And even from 1999, they are trying to redevelop along the beach so that tourist activities can happen. And I'm sure they're still on it. You need tourist attraction where you have every aspect of life when tourists come over. But with the problem of infrastructure that we have in the country, you can't do much tourism for now. It wasn't easy, but as I said, once you try to be a bit methodological about it, then you get by. Because from the days I came back from England, starting a family, working in large corporations, they just ensure that the home front solidly settled. And it wasn't that easy, because you know that I'm talking of almost 40 years back. To be able to excel amidst men, you probably have to do 2 times, 3 times more than them. I'm lucky I have a husband who accepts me being what I am. Because if you have a partner that does not appreciate your ambition and your dream, he will not support you. But I have the support of my husband, and we are able to keep the home together. Make sure that his food is given. Make sure the kids are well looked after. And make sure the husband is well looked after at all times. And don't grudge. I try to give myself to people in terms of needs. I try to recognize people's needs, and at the moment of that need, I try to help. And it's a legacy I try to sound to my kids at all times, recognize needs at that point and do it. Because at the point that you recognize it, if you don't offer the assistance, it may not be meaningful again. But if at the time that a need arises and you can do it, promptly do it. And I cannot manage people who are not sincere. I cannot. And that is the only thing that bothers me about life. And once I find out that they are not one way, I make my U-turn and I don't go back again. And that's one thing I have learned, I have seen, and I'm trying to learn from Mr. President Bola Tinubu. The way he can switch from being so hot and then swim as if nothing happened and carry on. That is tough for me. And I hope I'll be able to, within the space remaining, I'll be able to copy that. At the same time, I like hardworking. I recognize people who are hardworking, who are intelligent, and I recognize people who are hardworking and need to be helped in terms of training to be a better person. And I like fun. Now let me start with that girl child. That girl child is not so common again. At least most female children are educated now. Outside Lagos, girl child is a big reference. Yeah, I think everybody should be given equal chance to make a life, and a life worth living and contented with. Because if you don't have enough drive and motivation, then life becomes static and you just wear it out and go. But I believe that for women, don't let the men scare you off. You are equally hardworking and intelligent. Expose yourself, but don't mess yourself around. Don't get corrupt. Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. And there's one good prayer. Everybody that knows me, and I always say, my God is a just God. His judgment is always fair. So whoever hurts you, attacks you, leave them to God. He's a fair God. The judgment of God will come. Just move on and pray that in your lifetime, that judgment comes up. My favorite food, I like eba and ewedu. I'm an expert in cooking. I love cooking, and I tell you, I can challenge anybody to come and compete with me. On that level, I score a good card. But I love fresh fish, with ewedu and eba. I'm not too much of an amala fan, and my favorite color is green. Or it's green, but with that green, I love bright colors. Even jewelry, it has to be bright for me, but still worn in a conservative way. As loud as whatever I pick may be, I still give it a conservative umbrella. I love to dance. I'm a good dancer. I love to socialize. I'm a good mixer, but highly disciplined.
Wale Soyinka. Born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934 in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of arts. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influences deeply shaped Soyinka's world. Soyinka attended Government College Ibadan and later proceeded to the University College Ibadan, where he studied English and literature. Soyinka completed his education at the University of Leeds in England, earning a degree in English and later a doctorate degree. In the late 1950s, Soyinka began working as a dramaturgist at the Royal Court Theatre in London. However, his passion for storytelling and cultural preservation drew him back to Nigeria, where he founded two theatre groups known as the 1960 Masks and the Orisun Theatre Company. Soyinka's works, often a fusion of Western dramatic techniques and African themes, address universal issues of justice, freedom, and human dignity. His early play, titled A Dance of the Forest, which was introduced in 1960, written to celebrate Nigeria's independence, critically examined the nation's socio-political trajectory, setting the tone for his career as both artist and activist. Soyinka's activism became more visible during Nigeria's post-independence years. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he called for a ceasefire between federal forces and Biafran separatists. This led to his arrest by the military government, and he spent 22 months in prison, where he wrote a short drama titled The Man Died, Prison Notes, a harrowing account of his imprisonment and a profound critique of authoritarianism. Soyinka has authored more than 20 works, including plays, novels, poetry, and essays. In 1986, Soyinka became the first African to win the Nobel Prize of Literature, an achievement that brought global recognition to African literature. Soyinka remained an outspoken critic of oppressive regimes, often at great personal risk. His activism extended beyond Nigeria, addressing global issues of injustice and human rights. During periods of military rule in Nigeria, he went into exile, continuing to write and speak against tyranny. Today, Soyinka is celebrated not only as a literary giant, but also as a symbol of resilience and moral courage.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. the energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Markets, SOUQ Enlightenment.
Anthony Onyemachi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Literacy said is going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to your regular breakfast show. This is SBL. Put a hashtag in front of it. It's SOUQ Business Landscape. Hope you had yourself a very beautiful weekend. This is the first full productive week of 2026, and we will do justice to it and really get productive. Today on SBL, we'll be looking at debt servicing. Yes, a lot of African countries are seriously struggling in debt. Now, we have made too much money, but we've spent more servicing debt than we've even got in the last 50 years. That is something we need to sit down and ask ourselves some major questions. Are we moving forward or we are retrogressing? That's why we needed to be part of this discussion. It's not just something that we'll talk about on this table. We want you to be part of it. We'll also look at Dangote. There has been insinuations and stories from other quarters that Dangote refinery is shutting down for maintenance. They are saying no. Why are people saying that? We need to talk about that. Hey, what's happening in Venezuela? How is it going to affect us? How come the leader of a nation is taken by another nation? We need to talk about this on this table that is alive. So, hey, let's every one of us join and let's talk. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ. To start the program for this day, this week, I have just one of the very handsome people you want to meet and get into a fight with on a daily basis. He's got your back. Olumide, then other people will get to join us as the show progresses. But first, Olumide, good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Same
Happy New Week. Welcome to SBL. I am Olumide Shokoya. It's good to be here. Talk about a whole lot of things, especially what's happening in Venezuela. It's mixed reactions. A lot of things is going on, and there's the legality as to what he did. And there's another legality of, I think he's supposed to appear in court for trial today. So now they're going to look at the legality of how he was brought to court and how, whether or not to try him. It's beautiful. But I mean, I do not support, what he did.
Okay. This is face straight first conversations. I do not support what he did. Now, he did is now subjective. He, the taker, or he, the we. Okay. When we get to that particular story, we will get to talk about it, and we want to hear your take on it. But hey, let's talk about debt servicing. Now, Nigeria and other developing nations, they are facing record debt squeeze. Serious one. World Bank is telling us that developing countries, including Nigeria, are experiencing a historic debt squeeze. And their total external liabilities rising to 8.9 trillion in 2024. Again, 8.9 trillion. Now, the World Bank has revealed that they revealed this in their 2025 internal debt report. The report showed that from 2022 to 2024, these nations paid 741 billion, again, 741 billion more in debt servicing than they received in new financing. Let that sink. Now, the largest shortfall in over 50 years. This growing gap is straining public financing and posing serious concerns for global creditors and investors. See where they're going to. While there was some easing in 2024, as interest rates peaked and bond markets reopened, the World Bank warned that the debt outlook for these economies remain precarious, urging proactive financial management and international cooperation. Now, see where their major interest in the borrowers, interest in who is giving the money. No, they are not even talking about how the countries that are wallowing in this debt are trying to cope. Olumide, this is where and what we find ourselves. Now we are in this debt trap. We can't deny it anymore. African countries are in this debt trap. Well over 740 billion spent in servicing debt. More than the internally generated and the financial flow that came in 50 years. African countries.
It's quite interesting. I was just checking. I wanted to be sure about it. Ghana just recently paid a Eurobond payment ahead of schedule, December 30. They paid about $709 million US, but that's just 1 out of 3 tranches. I think the whole of it is about $1.4 billion. So they paid the first tranche, which is about $109 million. And, and Ghana has, for a while been entrenched in a whole lot of debt and all that. At the point, we used to look at Ghana as the giants, not giants of Africa, but they were faring at a point in their economy. Now they also started a debt. Now, if you look at Nigeria's debt also, it's roughly 152.4 trillion naira. That's external and domestic debt. It's a whole lot. But experts will always say that countries borrow, that it's healthy for countries to borrow. I mean, if you look at what US is owing and other European countries, it's nothing compared to what Nigeria. We are playing.
Yeah. Now, while we say we are playing, their GDP is way ahead of ours. That is 1. 2. Their productivity level is way ahead of ours. That is 2. And their external reserve, theirs in its internal reserve, is nothing compared to what we have here.
And they can print their currency.
Well, they can't print without making money.
Yes.
Even let's have that out there. Now, for us here in Nigeria, for example, we are servicing debt with over 15 trillion from the budget this year.
And
alone.
We discussed this last week when some governors, some state decided that they were going to, raise some money outside. We discussed it. Amin was here. Amin was even saying that, no, this is an indictment on the president to know that why should they allow this kind of thing to happen? Lagos was part of it. I think Lagos and some other state. Now, and we also know what happened last 2 years. Last 2 years, because it wasn't last year anymore. Last 2 years when President Tinubu had to go, but negotiate for the release of 2 of our presidential jets, which was seized as a result of a debt that was owed by a particular state. So the question now is, how do we even begin to curtail our borrowing limit? The people who are supposed to legislate, do they even want this? Because they are also beneficiaries of some of these loans. Every time loan is being sent to the house, it's like, boom.
Express approval.
There was one recently, November, December, the $500 million that Tinubu sent to the house. And in the way these loans are passed, without scrutiny, when a loan is being sent to the house, it should take a whole, 3 weeks, because you will debate every kobo. That is how it is going to be spent. Now, apart from that, I always say this, whatever loan you're collecting, tie it to a revenue project.
Okay. Let's look at Africa in a whole now. Can we really look at the loans Africa has taken, African countries have taken, and equate it directly to infrastructural development that is on ground now? Is it possible? Because, Africa has taken well over loans in trillions. Now, this is the infrastructure that has come in the last 10, 20 years from the loans Africa has taken.
Well, for Nigeria, if you start with Nigeria, if you look at the Calabar Coastal Way, has it been completed? Well, not yet. But is it in motion? Yes. But how much? And of course, we know this project is going to run through, about for the next 3 years or thereabout before it gets to completion. So how far with it? Let's look at the rail also. A lot of money was borrowed for the blue rail, the red rail, and whatnot. How well has it been? Well, the red rail, the one that goes from Lagos to Ibadan and the rest of them, the one that goes from Lagos to Ibadan, it's a good one. But are we maximizing it? It only takes 2 trips. That's in the morning and in the afternoon. We can maximize it better than that. It should go more than that so that you can generate more revenue. Transportation is one of the ways you can actually raise revenue. So if you tie a loan to that kind of project, you are sure to get dividends. Look at the Kano, the rail was derailed. Now, when you want to set up a project, you not only cater for the project, you cater for the maintenance of that project. So whatever you are doing, make sure that maintenance is also there. Even though we do not have that maintenance culture, we need to also start developing that maintenance, because far too long. If you look at the Ibadan express, the Ibadan Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, how long? Almost like 3 to 4 administrations came for that place to be complete. You cannot begin to even imagine how much was pumped into that. Look at Ajaokuta still till now. Look at NNPC.
Oh, NNPC it's they're a business venture.
Before it became a business venture.
Yeah, before it became a business venture, they are still civil servants. So somebody should hold them accountable to things they do.
Exactly.
But now let's look at loans. There was a particular period during the Obasanjo administration that a lot of African countries were seeking loan forgiveness. Yes. And a lot of African countries got it. Yes. A lot of African countries got it. After that particular period, most African countries have also now encumbered and emburdened themselves with fresh loans, bigger than what was forgiven. Do you think we can all stand up and say, okay, good and fine, we have serviced this debt for far too long? For some African countries, we've even paid more than the principal that they even borrowed, and they are still not even done or scratched the loan. Can we now start asking, okay, let's revisit this agreement or seek loan forgiveness? Because this particular indebtedness is not allowing Africa to develop.
Seeking loan forgiveness is one thing, and sitting down and say, okay, let's stop collecting loans is another thing.
Let's stop collecting loans?
Yes.
Then where are the monies going to come to fund a lot of the infrastructure Africa needs?
Haven't you heard of your coat according to your cloth or whatever?
Okay. Cut your clothes according to... It's no longer your size.
When we say seeking loan forgiveness, who is going to seek that loan forgiveness? If the same person that is supposed to seek that loan forgiveness is the one that is still pushing for more loans.
But also remember that some of these Bretton Woods organizations are on their own also arranging some of these.
Yes, they're complicit. The World Bank is complicit in this, because it's like loans are just, they want you to get that. They want to give out so many things. They are the ones who said we should devalue the Naira.
Okay, now let's also get to this particular. The federal government is making a target for something exportable product in every local government. Now this is to boost the non-oil trade, non-oil sector. They are saying every local government should have something that is exportable. The federal government is considering a bold nationwide scheme to identify at least one exportable product in each of Nigeria's 774 local government areas in 2026. The initiative aims to deepen non-oil export and strengthen Nigeria's competitiveness under the African Continental Free Trade Area, as the country seeks to diversify its revenue base. Now, this was disclosed by the special advisor to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on social media, Dada Olusegun, via a post on X, where he highlighted the administration's renewed focus on grassroots-driven export development. This particular initiative came up last year, and it's been on paper. Now, later in the year, a lot of talks were done about it. It's still on paper. When can we start seeing people really stand up and take ownership? It is not the federal government that's going to develop what will be exported. Yes. It's the private sector. All right. So can we take this away from the government boardrooms and get the people working? How can we get this done?
The responsibility lies first on the governor. Now, we need data to achieve this, because number one, each state now have to declare what it has. For far too long, we know there's a lot of mining going on in up north. What is happening, where the gold is going, this and that, we do not know. So for this to actualize, state governors now need to come out and say, okay, fine, maybe in Katangora local government, we have this, we have that, we have this. Miners, how are you going to do them? Because we know that a lot of this insecurity is also tied to mining. So how do you take care of that? Because if you now decide that, okay, each state should start benefiting from the resources, we have to take care of a whole lot of things. The Niger Delta is there, militants, the rest of them. How do you appease or appeal to them? Because if you say a particular local government, what do you have? There are people. Now, it also takes a sense of ownership. We've always discussed this sense of ownership, because Nigerians, I wouldn't say we don't have sense of ownership. I think it has to do with more of apathy. People just feel that, let me just leave. But until we start to have that sense of ownership, that this, okay, now here in Lagos, here in Ogun State, this is what we have. This is what our community have. How can we benefit? How can we partner? This is where AFCTA, African Continental Free Trade Area, comes in. If states can now start to trade, even intertrade, This would help boost a lot of things.
Where does the local government chairman come in? If we are just looking at the states.
Now, thank God that local governments now have autonomy, so they don't have to rely on states to do certain things. What it now means is that the responsibility of the local government chairman is to make sure that he does everything possible to develop that community without being strong-armed by any governor. He does not need that. Allocation is coming in directly from him. He can now sit down with his own people that, okay, what can we do? How can we do this? It will create jobs. It will boost production. It will create a whole lot of revenue for the local government. They can actually develop themselves with just that resources.
Okay, so it's more of we now looking inwards and taking ownership of what we have comparative advantage.
Holding their local governments accountable.
But it's not the local government that is going to produce whatever product that is going to come out for export in the state. It's going to be more like the people coming together.
Good. We have value-added, 30% value-added services or whatnot. So why can't this local government begin to partner with multinational companies, or even local companies? This would also give rise, it will also encourage local production. Because now that each state is accountable for its resources, I mean...
each state are not... When you say each state accountable for resources, that means maybe new resources or maybe new agricultural products. But right now, each state are not accountable for their resources. Some particular resources are owned by the federal government.
So how do we take care of that? That's why I purposely mentioned the militants. We know their cry. We know mining also. We know that. So how do the federal government take care of this now? Okay. River State, how do we take care of what's happening in River State? If you say each state should now look into their resources, with the government, federal government, hands off.
Okay, that's for crude oil.
For crude oil.
Okay.
And mining also.
And mining. Okay. These are major issues that we will need to tackle. But for every single local government from the 774 coming together and saying, you don't even need to come together, on your own part or your neck of the woods, say, okay, good and fine. Cashew is our main deal. We can't produce this or we can't process this. Timber is our main deal. We can't produce this, we can't process this. For those up north, shea butter is our main deal. The shea butter, there are a whole lot of things we can't really come up with.
You can partner with some of these multinationals, create a production, and thereby make sure that 50% or 60% of the workforce is the local community.
Yes.
They are the ones employed.
Okay, now we really need to get this particular project away out from the boardroom and get them to local government boardrooms, then down to the streets and every nook and cranny of local government. It's not just something that we could get to hear from the presidency or here in Abuja. Let's see this happening live in local government. Let's see this discussion and town hall meetings happening in local government, and we'll move forward. We'll go on a break, but before we do that, I want to inform you that we'll be having a guest from the market, the Balogu market. Sometime last week, they had an experience, a form of demolition in which the governor had to come in and they had a meeting. The market is not far from us. They are our neighbors and it's business, and so we'll talk about it. So the officials of the market will come in and we'll be discussing after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is SBL. You're right.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Boggaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love on the bad.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an Armed Forces Remembrance Cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of lock-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Welcome back. This is SBL, add a hashtag in front of it and you have it. SOUQ business landscape. My name is SOUQ, Joe Rogers SOUQ. The night is still here and we have a guest. Like we said before we went on the break. Now, sometime last week, we had this particular protest of marketers and they came to the governor's residence. And they were protesting bridge agreements that they had with the boards and all that, and demolition of their stores, and business has stalled. So we had to say, let's talk. If business is stalled, then we'll have a problem. People have not just to provide for their families, but get the economy growing. So today on SBL, we have the secretary of Oluwagbebe Market, that's in Balogun, and he will be here. He will give us a full details of what's happening and the progress thus far, and we'll look at solutions and how to get this thing sorted. He is Abbas Akim Ademola. Good morning and welcome to SBL.
Good morning, my brother.
Well done. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
It's nice seeing you.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you just chill? Okay. Now let's get to know. Right now, as of the last time we spoke and we looked at the event, we saw the protest that happened on Friday. Am I right? On Friday. Right. Then the governor was stepping out, and the governor had to stop and try communicating with you. Where has that conversation gotten to right now?
To this moment, we've not got anything from the president. We've not heard anything. But I believe in his word, because it's my governor.
Okay.
Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Okay.
He's a man of integrity.
Okay.
I believe in him.
Okay.
We call him Mr. Talk and Do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we find something to do.
Okay, but right now, what is the situation of the market?
It's still the same thing now. They have been molding fence there. As I of yesterday, they were digging the ground. They want to mold fence.
They want to fence the place.
Yeah, they want to fence the place.
That has been demolished.
Yeah. We don't know how we are going to survive. We are pleading on the governor to help us, make it easy for us, because we are planning. We are promoting African culture there. We have no other place to survive. Okay. We are paying school fees. Our children are there. So what do they want them to do?
Okay. Before the demolition, what was the disagreement that led to the demolition?
We don't have any disagreement. They just invaded our place, Balaska Edge, with Mr. Agbola Oki. He was there on the 31st that we should pack our goods. The land belongs to the government. I know the land was controlled by LSDPC. I know they were under government, but it is not done in that way. They should have served us a prior notice, at least a month, so that you can get another place to relocate. Or they should give us a place to to go, they should relocate us to another place. But that one has not been done.
Okay, so if I may ask, you are one of the shop owners there, right?
Yeah.
When you moved there, who did you pay to? Who was the agent? Who did you liaise with?
We were relocated by the local government.
Okay.
Not individually.
Okay.
Local,
as a group?
As a group, yeah.
Okay.
Since 1999, we've been there.
Okay.
We are operating there, and we are paying all our dues to the local government.
So you were paying straight to the local government?
We are paying all the deals, but it was allocated to us directly from local government.
Which of the local government?
Lagos Island.
Lagos Island.
Yeah.
Local government.
Local government, yeah.
Allocated that particular place for you.
Yeah.
Was there an agreement? Was there a document to back this agreement?
There is a document.
Okay.
Even by October, we just said even we didn't need our allocation.
Okay.
They gave us 15 years allocation individually.
15 years. From allocation. What year?
From this last year to 2040, yeah.
Okay, so from 2025, they gave you 15 years allocation, which would expire. That's about
2040.
2040.
So this is up to 3 months that has been demolished. So I don't know what they are doing about it.
Were you served any prior
notice? We were not served any
before this demolition?
We were not served at all.
Now, you said that an official came to say that where you are, you're not supposed to be there, they're coming to demolish. Did they explain why? Did they give you any reason?
They never explained anything to us. They just came and they just told us to just be parking. That belonged to the government.
And when they came, did you try to seek any redress?
You know what?
Litigation?
You know what was funny there is that when I tried to approach the man that controls them, that man is a Jide architect. They call him architect Jide. He was trying to explain that like the owner of the land.
The architect Jide, who is the person?
The control of the LAPCA agency.
Okay, agency.
That they follow them there.
Okay.
So he was explaining to me that the owner of the land wanted to use the land, and I told him.
Who was the owner of the land? Who did he claim the owner of the land is?
He said the family of the owner. And I said, this land doesn't belong to anybody.
What was the name of the owner of the family?
He never told me that.
Never told you the name of the
and I let me realize that this land belongs to Lagos State government, and it is controlled by LSDPC. They were the one that gave it to Nigerian Legion. Okay. Nigerian Legion is controlling it, and they are doing car park there.
Okay.
So before the demolition, it should have served us.
Okay. For those that are wondering, LSDPC is the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation.
Yeah.
And the way it is right now, are you people dealing with them individually or as an association?
We were not dealing with LSDPC because that place has been fenced before already. Okay. We are using the step back.
Okay.
And anything market is being controlled by local government.
Okay.
That is it.
But who are you dealing with now? Are you dealing with the local government?
Local government.
Then what is local government saying?
They have not said anything because when I called the market master that issued the allocation for us, he asked me to send the name of the controller, which is that I actually to him, and I forwarded it to him. He told me I sent it to Chairman Taiwo. Up to now, I've not had anything from him.
Okay. This is what I'll get to ask this question. Apart from your own side of the market, is it possible for your association and other market associations to be like a force to go forward and ask questions, not just individual associations? Because if the entire market forms a pressure group, more results are most likely going to happen. Are you reaching out to other associations in the market?
We have not done that, sir.
Okay, I think we will advise you to also do that. But did the governor give a timeline of when he's most likely going to intervene?
He didn't, but he said he promised of settlement, that he will settle everything.
What was the speech, or what did he actually say in his words when he met with you? What was the
promises? The governor?
Yes, the governor.
Yeah, he sympathized with us. Okay. So when he saw, he said, so all of you people are selling there. We said yes. Also, he was sorry. That's okay. He will find solution to it.
He didn't give reason why that place was demolished in the first place?
He never gave any reason.
So what did he say will remedy the situation? Does he have a place you relocate you guys to, or what's the way forward?
That is what we are expecting from him.
Did he give any hint whether there's going to be a relocation?
He just told that he will settle it. That
settle
was
it as relocation or compensation?
Not in compensation.
Relocation.
Maybe relocation, or maybe we'll be reinstated back there. I don't know.
Okay, that was on Friday.
That was on Friday.
Okay, so Friday, then we have the weekend, and this is Monday.
This is Monday, yeah.
Okay, good. So is it possible, just like we said now, instead of the protest, just talk to other market associations, then the leaders can now officially look for a way to sit down with the governor and progress that particular communication. Okay. That would be in a better way. But before that happens, how are you and your other members, how are you faring?
We are just planning to stay there. At least we can be able to sell our stock. We have goods that we have bought. Some people even went into to collect money from a financial homes. So we got a lot of goods. So we have to sell them out. Even for us to even get another shop, we must sell what we have before so we can collect our money.
Okay.
It's not easy for them, including me myself.
Okay. Then also, do you have any form of insurance, both as a person or as an association?
No, we don't have insurance.
You don't have an insurance.
No.
Okay. For everyone out there, this is a developing story and is happening in Balogun. Balogun happens to be one of the biggest markets in Africa. And this is with the Oluwagbebe market. They are the side that sells Kampalas and a whole lot of traditional African print. And they are experiencing some form of demolition and market relocation that has not occurred yet. And if you want to be part of this particular story that is unfolding, get onto our page and drop your comments and we will get to hear from you. We'll also try and reach out to the government side and get to hear what most likely is the plan for that particular market. And we'll also get the numbers of the people that came for demolition and the numbers of the, in quote, owners and get to also hear from them. And we'll give you a better side of the story.
All right, so I'd like to ask one more question. In a case whereby the government does not meet your needs, what is the next plan? Do you have any backup plan if the government or the state governor does not come to your rescue?
For now, we have no plan yet because we rely on the governor, as he has promised to settle everything, and I believe he will do so. Without that, we have no hope now.
Do you plan to seek any court litigation or?
Before seeking any court litigation, we have to stage another protest. Maybe we'll go to the National Assembly, to the State Assembly. Okay. So they can come to our aid.
Okay, thank you very much.
But anything belongs to the government is for the masses. I don't know why they can inconvenience us for other people to survive. I believe there are some developers that are under the SOUQ director, that is Bola Nwoki, that they want to demolish our place and hand it over to them so they can rebuild it and be giving us at a high cost, which is not normal.
Is that what you were being told?
This is not the first time they are doing so. It was done during the regime of Babatunde Fashola.
Okay. It
was on the record that came and reinstated us there back. When he came into the park, now look at the assembly, this land belongs to the Lagos state government, not individual. So you people should go and rebuild our shop. We are enjoying ourselves. Okay. I don't know how come they can come and demolish us.
Okay. Let's get to our Twitter and read some of the messages. We have this from our own. He's in another day for brilliant broadcasting. Thank you very much, Dr. Dausa. He said, talking about this story we're looking at on debt and African countries, he says it's not only African countries that are dealing with debt. Debt is a global epidemic. Thank you for using that word, epidemic. World Bank should advise her landlord with over 32 trillion debt burden. I wish you'd tell us who that landlord is. But hey, he's also saying the U.S. national debt per capita is over 100,000, with recent figures placing it at around 105,000 and 113,000 per person. Okay, congratulations to them. Now, we have this from Mr. Krumala. He said the level of indebtedness is not responsible for underdeveloping Africa. African leaders who commit acts that constitute economic retrogression because the loans were not well appropriated. Thank you very much. Now, this is coming from Toby. Said there is a need to reshape the minds of traders around insurance and protecting their business. This is our advice to you. I know this will be sorted out. It's just a matter of time and the stress. But after going forward, you and the association think insurance. A lot of this hardship can really be curtailed and insurance can bear some of this burden. Thank you very much for coming on SBL. We'll continue this conversation after the show, and if we need to bring you back, we'll do that again. Thank you. Our minds are with you, and we'll follow up to make sure that this is settled amicably.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go on a very short break, and when we return, Amin himself will be on set, and we'll talk about issues that you want to talk about. Don't go anywhere.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News, keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Fellow Nigerians, did you know that constituency and executive projects in your communities are not gifts from your legislators? They are projects sponsored by the legislators and funded by the federal government to improve your life and the lives of those around you. These projects belong to you. Without your vigilance, they might never be completed. Don't allow them to fade away into unfulfilled promises. Stand up, take ownership, monitor their progress, demand accountability, and report concerns to ICPC. Call our toll-free line now on 0800-2255-4272 or WhatsApp only on 0806-656-4726. This message is brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, with support from MacArthur Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Development in Africa, CDD.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Welcome back. This is still SBL SOUQ Business Landscape, and we are here. Now, Amin has joined us. Thank you very much, Amin. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How you doing?
I'm great.
How was your weekend?
Beautiful.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, now let's get straight to the gist of now. Poor performing assets as it concerns NNPC and their subsidiaries. Now, NNPC is facing 30.3 trillion intercompany debt as subsidiaries struggle. Yeah. Despite its commercialization, as of the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited, it's under mounting financial pressure with underperforming subsidiaries and joint ventures owing the firm a staggering 30.30 trillion. Now, according to NNPC's 2024 audited financials, intercompany debt surged by 70.4% from 17.78 to, that was in 2023, reflecting deepening inefficiencies when the group and worsening liquidity risk. Now, this spike has raised concern over NNPC's ability to effectively manage internal obligations and maintain long-term solvency. Analysts are warning that without urgent restructuring and improved corporate governance, the company's transformation into a viable commercial entity could be undermined by legacy inefficiencies and poor performing assets. We've moved from inability to manage refineries. We've moved from government, NNPC owing government. We've moved from the president forgiving some of NNPC's inefficiency and debt. Now it's now internal issues. 30 billion. Am I right? Trillion, 30.something trillion. NNPC debt, internal NNPC debt, among itself, its subsidiaries. What are we really looking at?
We are looking at a company, even though by the Petroleum Act has become a limited liability company and is supposed to run as a profit-bearing company, is still largely being run as a government corporation. And there's so much bureaucracy around it. There's so much powerful cabals making money from NNPC. So, and that has hindered the management of NNPC and the heads to take the right decision. Everybody can see the right decision, from selling the refinery to other internal decisions that is meant to be made. But these decisions are decisions that favor some very powerful people, and there is a lot of political pressures around it. And, you know, everybody just knows the right thing to do, but we don't have the enough political will to do it. So that is what we see. Even if we look at the refinery that has not worked effectively in many decades, the overhead that is coming from the refinery defies logic, defies common sense. Like, oh, why are we paying this so much money if this place is not working, it's not turning around? Are we paying people to sit at home? Isn't it cheaper for us to pay then their severance package and call it a day? So we need to bite the bullet, take the difficult but necessary steps to turn NNPC into a profit-making organization that is meant to be, with the intention from the Petroleum Act that turned it to a limited liability company.
Okay. We need to turn NNPC to exactly what it's meant to be. What it's meant to be. Now, Olumide, we're looking at over 30 trillion. Over 30 trillion. Who should we hold accountable for this amount of indebtedness?
It's quite interesting that NNPC has failed to live up to what we expected. If you look at what was put in there and the fact that President Tinubu had to write off some debt, a whole lot of debt, which I feel that could also give room for some people to go scot-free. It shouldn't have been. But then again, now they have internal debt. So how are we going to go around this? First of all, we need to audit NNPC. What is going on?
There has been several audits done, self-audits, external audits.
Yes,
it
was the audit that we found out that what is missing is even more than the budget of Nigeria. And Doc said it could be, it was a term he used for it and all that. So I believe that we need to set up a panel. An independent forensic needs to be conducted on NNPC, because if it's still coming from the Senate or any other government agency, we're wasting time. An independent forensic audit should be done on NNPC and bring out everything. Now, the thing is, when you do public reports, somehow, it also boosts public confidence. It boosts investors' confidence because now you are reporting what is going on. Now, another way we can get all this out is if NNPC is listed on the capital market. Now, you know when a company goes to the capital market, you have to open the books.
Would they qualify to get listed?
Then they are
at the rate at which they are going, would they qualify to get
listed? That is why they need to put their house together, or they sell it. Look, it's either you evolve or you fizzle out. You can't be in the middle.
You can't be in the middle, you say. We want to see a country that works. And for this country to work, NNPC has to really get their act right. Get their act right. We don't want to be seeing this in 2026. Let the old NNPC end in 2025. And let's have something new going forward. Now, this particular story came up last week, and it was publicized. Dangote Refinery are also now coming to tell us that we pump 43.3 million liters of petrol, and they are saying we did not shut down. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has confirmed it supplied 43.3 million liters of premium motor spirit petrol to Nigerian market on Saturday, dismissing rumors that the facility has shut down its petrol processing unit for maintenance. Now, refinery officials who requested anonymity told our correspondent that the facility remained fully operational and had not suspended production. They said claims of a shutdown were baseless and likely fueled by speculations within the downstream market. They added that some marketers were merely using the rumor as an excuse to hike petrol gantry prices, which had recently dropped from 828 to 699 naira per liter, following Dangote's intervention in the domestic supply chain. This refinery not working came out last week, if you remember, and authoritatively from someone in quote, a body in quote that is supposed to be respected. Why are we having this kind of conflicted news, conflicted stories coming here, right? To whose advantage was that meant to for?
It's in the advantage of the marketers, because personally, I spoke to retail sellers that are selling imported fuel. Now the price difference is over 100 naira. So I fill my tank, which comes to about 50,000 naira. And by my calculation, I know if I had filled my gas with one of the NNPC retailers, I would have saved about 7,000 naira, which was a lot of money. And he said, you know, that like they've lost about 40% of their customers, and the people that are still coming is because it was in December. And there's still a lot of people in Lagos and all of that, that they are scared that by January, they will barely see people come by for, because over 100 naira difference is a lot, especially for people that wants to buy just 10 liters. Even, you know, like commercial people that will buy 10 liters, 20 liters. If you are buying 10 liters, you are saving about over 1,000 naira that can buy you lunch. So you rather just go to MRS or any of the cooperating retailers with Dangote. So I know they need to fight back. And in my own opinion, that is where this news of mischief is coming from. Because if Dangote is shutting down, the news should come from Dangote. But if it's coming from somebody else, is fishy and is low.
Below the belt.
It's below the belt.
Okay. He called it news of mischief.
Yes.
Yesterday, on Friday, that was when we saw that particular story, and it came from, in quote, someone with the authority up there on the other side of of the divide. Now he has called it news of mischief. Should we get to an era where if people peddle this kind of false information, they can be sued?
Yes, they should be sued. I mean, Dangote did it to one guy who tried to slander him, and he had to go back to the interview he had and read out his apology letter. I think it was sued about 100 billion naira. He doesn't have that kind of money, so he had to read out that. So I know Dangote for that. Maybe he just decided to. But Dangote right now is not about to even stop, because he knows what he's into. He knows he's in a sea with sharks who are trying to eat him up at any slight opportunity. Even before now, during Christmas, there's always a rumor that filters out there that petrol is about to go scarce. And, you know, there's always this panic buying everywhere. People start to buy and keep in their houses and everything. You know, then we'll come back to say, okay, there's no fuel scarcity and all that. So it's common, especially around this period. But Dangote, like Amin said, the news has to come from Dangote. If any other thing, even if he's going to shut down for maintenance, he would come out to tell you the reason why. So Dangote right now is not about, not the fact that he has even put out it's not a disclaimer, he has put out a warning that if any MRS is selling above this particular price, please call this number. That is someone who takes his business very serious.
Okay, taking the business very serious. To all those mischief and false information peddlers, please, we beg you, we beseech you, desist from it. It's not helping us as a nation. And for we, the consumers, this particular fight between these parties, please let it continue. And for the refiners that will be coming upstream, we wish you the best. Be fast. Come up very fast. Now let's get to tax. Now, on this same table, sometime 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and last week, we were asking the National Assembly, House of Rep, hey, go ahead and publish what you passed on the tax laws. And they did that over the weekend. Now, the reps, they released certified copies of the Tax Act. Amid authenticity concern, as the House of Representatives have released certified true copies of the 4 Tax Reform Acts passed by the National Assembly and signed into law by the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The move comes amid public concern over alleged discrepancies and unauthorized versions of the legislation circulating online, prompting calls for transparency and legal clarity. Officials say the release affirms the authenticity of the tax law and underscores the National Assembly's commitment to upholding legislative integrity and public trust. Too late, too early, or they did it at least?
They did it at least, and this came a little too late, and the time that passed, the time that they wasted, it still gave people some doubt in the public trust. We have so much deficits in public trust already, and this is another kind of the situation that make the public doubt the intentions of the government and their sincerity. And even the release version still has some some little difference in terms of language use, which is not supposed to be. And I don't know where we go to from here. I feel like the ball is now in the court of the opposition in the National Assembly. However, they choose to play it. The ruling party has an overwhelming majority now. They can pass anything without the opposition. So, however the opposition is going to play it now, I would love to see it play out. I would love to see what they would do about the little discrepancy and the slight change in language in the gazetted and the debated tax law.
Okay, now for this particular discrepancy he's talking about, do you think the courts have a role to play here?
Well, one of the rumors that came out that time with these discrepancies was that the NRS, the Revenue Service, had the power to prosecute people. So that was part of the rumor that, no, the NRS don't have the power. The courts actually can prosecute and send anybody to jail. They cannot do this. Then we also heard about them being able to deduct from your bank account. Then Taiwo Oyedele came out to clarify that. There was a whole lot of things that caused a lot of brouhaha with these discrepancies, and it rather came too late, because public confidence is something that can fizzle out within seconds, and the public and the government right now, it's very sensitive. It's like the public wants every reason to doubt government, so you have to be one step ahead to make sure that, no, this is what we are doing, and this is what that was gazetted, and this is what was passed. It has to be the same. So now, just like Amin said, it's now left to the oppositions in the House to try and see what they can do for them. But I doubt they can really do anything. I mean, if you look at what happened the last time our president was in the Senate and the song that was being sung, you would know that the majority is the ruling party, and very few of them are in the opposition. So what really can be done? And when you talk about courts, look at what happened with the Natasha situation. She approached the court. What happened? Did they obey the court order? We have a problem with that also. So,
Mr. Shiokai, I would like to take an exemption to that. Okay. The Nigerian judiciary, there is no enough public confidence, but in my opinion, they are not doing badly. The Natasha case that you mentioned, the court does not have the right to control the action of the legislature, because the legislature is another arm of government.
Are they above the courts?
They are not above the court.
Okay.
But remember, the court rules on the law that they make. They check each other, but they cannot control each
No,
other.
the court said maintain status quo. That was what they said.
Yeah, but it's just one of these situations where politicians just shop for injunction. And up till now, okay, you accuse somebody of sexual harassment.
Yes.
Up till now, there's no one shred of evidence. It was just charade.
Okay.
Okay.
The court does not have
can we leave Natasha alone?
No, what I was just trying to say was, you said, can they approach the court? I'm saying, would they heed to whatever the court says? We've seen situations
No,
where
but this has to do with law that has been passed.
law that has been
Yes,
passed.
so can they approach the court? Look at what we passed. This is what is gazetted.
Yeah, but they are, I feel like it's something they need to handle in the National Assembly. Because their job is to make law and amend law.
laws.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have the power to raise it. And, you know,
But now,
they have,
looking at the numbers, just like you said.
Exactly.
One particular number is way ahead.
So the ruling party has an overwhelming majority. It's probably going to be dead in the waters, but
So can the opposition approach the court?
You can't approach the court if you are not popular. The reason why we have democracy, you cannot go and get popularity from the court.
Okay. Now we are seeing democracy play out. Now let's go to Venezuela. Not by flight. Now, military operations in Venezuela. U.S., they say that they're going to temporarily administer Venezuela. That's after Maduro's capture. For those that are not aware yet, the United States stepped into Venezuela and abducted the president. Now, the United States will temporarily administer Venezuela following the capture of President Nicolas Maduro, pending what President Donald Trump described as safe, proper, and judicious leadership transition. Trump made the announcement during a news conference on Saturday, January 3rd, at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, just hours after a U.S. military operation reportedly captured the Venezuelan leader and removed him from power. He stated that the move was part of efforts to stabilize Venezuela and support democratic reforms while ensuring peace and security in the region during the interim administration. Okay, let's start with a whole lot of issues that have been thrown up with this particular action of Trump. How independent, how sovereign is Venezuela?
Trump is exerting the powers that he does not have. In fact, apart from invading Venezuela and illegally...
You call it an invasion?
It's an invasion.
Okay.
Because he invaded a sovereign nation and captured their president. And he has also sent threats to 3 other countries, Cuba, Mexico, and Colombia, to say, oh, you are going to be next. This is not what we want to see. This is not what we want to see. Issues like this, and we've seen the Prime Minister of UK and I think the President of France supports the action because they think Maduro is an illegal president, that his election was largely flawed. But I feel like there are other diplomatic ways that this could have been handled for change of government. And in my own opinion, I don't think this was done without internal mechanism. I feel like this is an indirect coup because the operation was very smooth. Where was the National Guard? Where was their military? I feel like the head of the military in Venezuela and the vice president cooperated with America and gave up their president. That is what I think happened. And Trump, in less than 24 hours, has shown all of his cards, told the world that he wants to drill Venezuela's oil. He's going to send U.S. Oil billionaires into Venezuela to invest in the infrastructure and start drilling. And I believe the way this news affects us in Nigeria is, if that's been done, Venezuela being the biggest oil reserve in the whole world, if Trump make well on his threats, it's going to affect the global oil prices, and Nigerian budget depends heavily on the global oil price. I feel like that is how it affects us. This is not what we want to see, and if we are not careful, this might be a slippery slope even into the third world.
Okay, before we get to the Nigerian side of the story, let's look at Trump and his movement.
Antecedents.
Let's use good words. Now he went into Venezuela, and he has also Trump. You can't get me. And he has also gone ahead to start the threat on his neighbors and also some other South and North American countries. These are supposed to be sovereign nations, where their issues are supposed to be internal. If you need to meddle, then you have to go through diplomatic channels. But now you sent the military, put boots on ground, and disposed a president. Now, these are things history has taught us over time has never occurred well or gone well, both to who invaded and who was invaded. When are we going to see other nations or the United Nations stand up and speak up on issues like this?
I think the United Nations, to me, has outlived its usefulness because, I mean, we remember what Trump said at the UN Assembly and how he went off and off and off. He went on overdrive with the speech that day, and, you know, and then again, Trump is someone who, if you remember, Trump, I'm not surprised he's doing this. Because if you remember, there was a speech Trump gave about Afghanistan, and he said, we went into Afghanistan, we bombed the whole place and left them miserable, took their oil. And, you know, a lot of people laughed at it, but that's what he's doing right now. So it shouldn't come as a surprise. But then again, who's going to stop him? Because he is trying as much as possible to eat up the small fishes. Now, there's also this propaganda of oil in Venezuela. We all know Venezuela has the largest deposit of oil there. And him saying that he's going to take over and even allegedly naming Mark Rubio the vice president of that place. Now, I said it earlier when this program started. I think Maduro is supposed to be tried today in court. Now, they are looking at the legality of how he was brought in, whether it is even legal to try him in U.S. because how did you bring this person in? You extracted him, you went into his house, you invaded the country with the best of the best elite soldiers, fighter jets, whatnot. You monitored this person.
150?
I mean, they monitored this person. That alone, of course, is espionage. You were monitoring a president down to what he wore, the clothes he wore, the food, his children, his movement, and every other thing. And you sent in people into his residence. That's treason to me, basically. That's invasion of the highest order. What is UN going to do about it? How are they going to sanction? Are they going to sanction? I mean, if you had invaded him, extracted him and taken him and dropped him at the ICC, maybe, just maybe people will say, okay. But you took him back to your country. So is he a prisoner of war or what? Or what is he in U.S. right now?
Okay, these are questions we will also throw back to you. So join the conversation. Let's now ask this particular question this way. If the U.S. have done this, are they setting a precedence for other countries? As long as you're stronger than the other person, and the person is not aligning to your interest, you can go in.
This is a very, very sad precedence and reality in the global politics. The only countries that can sleep with their eyes closed are the world powers now. The rest of the smaller nations, everybody is scared, from Chile president, Mexico president, Colombian president, everybody has released statements and condemned this, and they are calling the world to say, oh, today is Venezuela, tomorrow it can be anybody. We need to resist this. We should not be saying this. And China and Russia wants to get involved. We don't know how deep they are going to get involved. So if they get involved beyond just diplomatic way and lip service, we might be slipping into the World War III. Yeah, because both China and Russia are also interested in Venezuela oil, and they've been working around it diplomatically before America forcefully went into Venezuela. And Trump is not stopping at that. Trump, the vice president of Venezuela, Ms. Rodriguez, was sworn into office as the acting president on Saturday. And Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of America, has announced that that is not our own vice president, as if he's a Venezuelan. Like, America is not going to accept that person, and they are going to run that country until a proper transition is done. So America wants to run Venezuela, run their oil field, and organize an election for them and pick a leader for them. So I don't know, I can't make a sense of this. This looks like a script from a movie, but it's a sad reality.
This is real life. Now let's look at China. China has issues with Taiwan. And some other, Taiwan, Hong Kong. And the US is saying, no, Taiwan is an independent country, leave them alone. Hong Kong is, leave them alone. Russia has issues with Ukraine. America and Europe are saying, no, Ukraine is an independent country, leave them alone. And they've been fighting this war with some restraint. We all know Russia has been using a whole lot of restraint in Ukraine. What precedence is this going to set?
Like I said,
both for China and both for these other countries that they know that they can step in there.
Yeah, like I said, it's a very, very bad precedent, and in global politics, this is a very terrible nightmare, to be honest. So it means if you are negotiating something with a country and it's not going your way, you can just kidnap their president and make the next person sign whatever you want, or threaten the person to say, okay, I'll kidnap you too if you don't sign this. It's a very, very terrible precedent. It's something that I would never imagine is possible, but hey, here we are. And in fact, at the forefront of the people protesting this are American citizens itself, and even the new mayor of New York that was sworn in office less than a week ago did a press conference to condemn this, because Maduro will be tried in New York, and in New York City, and as the mayor of New York, he's saying this is a very bad precedent, and he opposes this action. So if we can get somebody, an elected government official that is high up as a mayor of New York, which is the most important city in America, and thousands of American citizens hit the streets to protest this, to say, oh, don't bring war upon us, don't give us a bad name. America is known as a leader in the world and somebody that sets good precedent. This is a very, very bad precedent. This is going to give us a bad image and bad name.
Okay. Did Maduro not see this coming? I believe he should also have.
Because there was a.
I mean, he's of the opinion that he thinks that he was handed over.
I strongly believe that, because the report did not show that any bloodshed was done. There was no missiles. There was nothing. How easy is it for you to go into a government house of a governor in Nigeria to just get out, pick the governor without a single bullet shot?
No, it wasn't as if there was no resistance. There was resistance. According to the report, one of the choppers was shot, but it was flyable. Now, according to them also, all the choppers that went and every other thing came back. So what they did was they sent in the Navy spacecraft and fighter jets. Those fighter jets served as protection. They were the ones protecting the choppers. So the choppers landed. There was some resistance. Now, the thing again is, there was a video that came out. We all saw that video, Maduro. Whether he was referring to Trump or not, he said he dared them to come and they should come quick. And he made mention of cowards. That was what the White House posted on his official X account. He posted that video.
Yes,
Maduro saying that he's waiting for them to come.
When the U.S. was going to capture Gaddafi, it took the cooperation of about 11 countries, and it took them almost a year to plan to execute it, and several lives were lost. That is an African precedent.
Yes, of course there would be.
So for this to happen like this,
and they stepped into the.
I don't think American military is that slick. They are good, but they are not that movie fiction level good.
Well, of
I
course,
believe there is cooperation. I believe in the... even the swearing in of the vice president was very, very swift. It happened in less than 12 hours. So it's something that it almost looked like something that they were expecting that is planned out.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. Immediately a president is captured or dead on road, they swear in the next person. So that
what has the military done thus far?
The military has just come on TV to condemn, to say, oh, they are going to war. That's it.
We need to be careful if there's going to be any war, because World War III is being projected as
Let's leave World War III alone. Okay. Let's talk about the issue between Venezuela right now and the United States. We have not seen that openness from both the government in Venezuela and the people in Venezuela that this particular story have sunk. We've not seen that reaction like when we see an invading force step into your country and do what they needed to do. We've not seen that reaction.
There has been protest, mixed protests, some for, some against. So the problem now is the amount of people who are against it are against the amount of people who are for it. Some people came out, videos were shown, people coming out to thank President Trump for liberating them. And there are some who came out to condemn that invasion. So it's a mixed reaction. Even though the vice president, the new sworn-in vice president, has condemned the act, yes, she has said that, no, this is wrong and blah, blah, blah. So, but the problem now is, how are we going to solve it? What is the UN going to do, like I said? What powers do they even have?
Okay, South Africa wrote to the UN, and we've seen that particular publication. Do we expect to see a meeting, a gathering of the UN?
Is US still part of the UN?
Of course it's there.
Do you think Trump regards anything the United Nations? Do you think he has regards
I mean, the secretary of the UN is even in New York, so he's in the
secretary. Yeah. So now let's see. I know they have a veto power on most of whatever is coming out from that particular body, but what do you think the UN is going to do in the next few days?
What can they do? Sanction?
At least speaking against it is one.
Speaking against it, yes, but what really can they do?
Every country will just air their dissatisfaction, and they are going to see which country is for and which is against it. So far, we have seen France, we have seen the UK come out to say they support it because they think Maduro is an illegal, illegitimate president. And we've seen other countries like Chile, Mexico, Cuba, Colombia come out to condemn it. And we've seen Trump threatened those three of those four presidents.
Yes.
Mexico, Cuba, and Colombia to say, be
careful. Said Colombia is next.
You are going to be next.
Okay. While these threats and counter threats are happening, now let's look at the one that concerns us: global crude supply. Now, Venezuelan shock puts Nigeria's 58 trillion 2026 budget under pressure, serious pressure. Now, Nigeria's 58.18 trillion 2026 budget anchored on $64.8485 per barrel. Oil benchmark is facing renewed fiscal pressure amid fears of declining oil prices. Now, concerns have grown following President Trump's intervention in Venezuela, which analysts warn could lead to a sharp rise in global crude supply if US-backed operations restore Venezuela exports. With oil still Nigeria's top revenue source, a supply surge could drag prices below projection, threatening key budgetary assumptions and putting spending plans at risk. Trump has openly said, we are going for the oil. And if that happens, Venezuela is one particular country that over time, irrespective of the amount of deposit they have not been able to meet their OPEC quota. Not been able. So most times, they don't even, their OPEC quota is always there standing. So it's always, okay, what's the shortfall from Venezuela? They spread it among other countries. But right now with the US, and US companies that were drilling there before, that are having issues thanks to Maduro, getting back to that place. Do you think Trump is going to have a field day drilling there, and the excess supply that is going to come into the market is most likely going to crash the market?
Yes.
What should we be doing right now?
What we should be doing is continue to diversify our economy. But I don't think this is going to happen overnight. I think it's going to take a bit for it to happen. I know there will be resistance by indigenous oil players in that country, and even moving.
What kind of resistance? Because if they can pick up the president, then who are the oil CEOs that they can't pick up?
Resistance is resistance. The people that wants to drill oil, they are not Navy SEALs. They are engineers.
Okay.
So they can have people resist them. There will be resistance. There most definitely. I don't think it's going to be a few days. I know that eventually it will happen, but I know it's going to take a while. Even moving investments and infrastructure to make it happen is going to take a while. It's not like just snapping your finger and then oil, oil start pumping. And Trump has shown, and I don't see how OPEC is going to play now, because Trump has shown that he's a wild card. If he can go to the extent of picking up a sitting president, then he can defy OPEC quotas. He can do whatever he can to get whatever he wants. And Nigeria just needs to diversify our economy at this time. There is a huge demand for lithium. There's huge demand for agricultural produce. There's huge demand for IT, human capital. We can start training our people for IT. Singapore, Thailand, they are doing a lot of IT jobs, outsourcing, even India's for America and some Western countries. So we need to look into that to generate revenue. That's what we can do. But
okay.
Trump is definitely going to disrupt the global oil markets.
Okay, right now, it's not a case of war and oil prices going up. It's a case now of oversupply. What can OPEC do?
Well, OPEC would have to come in at this point and try to see as much as possible of how they can regulate these things, because it's going to be a field day. But just like he said, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. A lot of things can still crop up that could prevent Trump.
What can OPEC do? If at the end of the day, when America succeeds in drilling and putting drills in the ground and pumping out crude, what can OPEC do?
Do you want them to reduce the benchmark or increase it? Or
OPEC can put sanction on that oil. OPEC can ask all the countries not to buy that oil. So, and we see the diplomatic power of America if they can force countries to buy their oil.
Okay. Do you share the idea?
It's a good idea, but I'm looking at what US can do or might do.
Yeah. You can't put a gun on somebody's head to buy your oil.
Yes, you can do it. But how would it affect countries also? I mean, we depend on oil.
Yeah, we buy from other sources. Russia has oil, Saudi has oil. There are so many. I believe if you take out Venezuela and America, Saudi has enough oil to serve the rest of the world. So, and Saudi is a major player in OPEC. They have a very good say.
Saudi is the #1 player in OPEC.
So, if US is going to, and Saudi's economy depend largely on oil too. So if Trump is disrupting the global oil market, it's going to affect Saudi. So Saudi can influence the other players in OPEC to put a sanction on both Venezuela oil and the US oil.
But also remember that Saudi is a major ally of the US.
Yes, but you can't continue to protect your ally if it means your own is going to mess up your own economy. So to what extent? Being ally is a symbiosis relationship. It means we
benefit from each other.
We agree on mutually beneficial ideas. But by the time you're going rogue and whatever you're doing is going to mess up my own economy, then I have to fight for myself.
Okay, while he's fighting for himself, let's say you are President Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now. What will you be doing? Preparing for what is coming, knowing fully well it's going to come.
Well, I like this idea. I would want President Bola Tinubu in his own way to kind of like liaise with OPEC and get them to probably sanction Venezuela oil and US oil so that Nigeria, then make sure that we drill more. So that
you as the president,
and
do you have the nerves?
If I was the president, that's what I would go for.
And
I'm not speaking for the president.
And I think this move is going to strengthen BRICS.
Okay. Yes, it should.
So all the smaller countries, we have to sign up under BRICS so that Russia and China can protect them.
Okay. Now we have seen a whole lot of political movement, geopolitical maneuvers. and is boiling down to naira, kobo, dollars, cedis, and pounds. We need stability for growth. Africa needs stability for growth. In all this mix-up, where does Africa stand? We want to see a world far removed from wars. And whoever is trying to start one, we will say no, and we are not in support of it. Countries are sovereign. There are better ways of resolving issues and not putting boots on someone else's country. We want to say thank you very much for being part of SBL today. Today is Monday. We'll do it again tomorrow. Remember, always remember people and reach out, share some love. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ.
It's been a pleasure staying with us on SOUQ Business Landscape. Venezuela, US, oil prices going up or down. As long as we diversify our revenue, VAT, tax reforms and whatnot, if we strengthen all that, we should be good for ourselves. We should remain independent and be the giants of Africa like we've always been. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Amin.
Thank you for being with us to this point of the program. As a Nigerian, you are a representative of this country. Be a good one. Pay your taxes. Happy 2026. I believe this is the first official working day of the year. Have a great week.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizens. Always see something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Fellow Nigerians, did you know that constituency and executive projects in your communities are not gifts from your legislators? They are projects sponsored by the legislators and funded by the federal government to improve your life and the lives of those around you. These projects belong to you. Without your vigilance, they might never be completed. Don't allow them to fade away into unfulfilled promises. Stand up, take ownership, monitor their progress, demand accountability, and report concerns to ICPC. Call our toll-free line now on 0800-2255-4272 or WhatsApp only on 0806-656-4726. This message is brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, with support from MacArthur Foundation and the Center for Democracy and Development in Africa, CDD.
The world of business is one filled with men and women willing to dine with risk. And when we seek African business shapers, we see individuals who have denied self to build conglomerates. From controlling over 90% of diesel trade in Nigeria, to almost throwing in the towel, then getting on the Forbes list, we present Olufemi Peter Otedola. The Nigerian businessman and philanthropist was born in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, on the 4th of November, 1962, into the family of late Sir Michael Otedola, the governor of Lagos State from 1992 to 1993. The University of Lagos Staff School, Akuka, welcomed Olufemi for his primary education and secondary education at Olivet Baptist High School, Oyo. Olufemi proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, for his first degree, graduated and joined the family printing press business, working hard and gaining experience. Femi Otedola ventured out starting Center Force Limited. The company focused on finance, investment and trading. The oil and gas sector was Femi Otedola's next port of call. From quite a very humble beginning in the oil and gas sector, utilizing connections and networks of family and friends, he cultivated partnerships in diesel supply chain, him being the last man to the final consumer. Challenges breed opportunities, and in Femi's case, it was a late delivery of diesel from his supplier with a broken truck, and he caught the idea. He could do better and provide better services. He ventured into diesel supply business, buying diesel from a retailer and supplying to companies. Femi Otedola encountered several difficulties securing his supply and timely meeting the demands of his growing clients. This definitely was an opportunity he identified in the fuel retail market. Otedola secured the finance, and Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited was born, petroleum products marketing and distribution company. Otedola, owner and chairman of Zenon, in 2004 invested 15 billion naira in downstream infrastructure development and acquired storage depots at Ibaofon, Apapa, as well as 4 cargo vessels, amounting to a combined total storage capacity of 147,000 metric tons. Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited also acquired a fleet of 100 DAF fuel tanker trucks. By 2005, Zenon controlled a major share of the Nigerian diesel market, supplying fuel to most of the major manufacturers in the country, including Dangote Group, Cadbury, Coca-Cola, Nigerian Breweries, MTN, Unilever, Nestle, and Guinness. Zenon Petroleum and Gas was the name on major invoices, and Femi Otedola the name on every lips, playing toe-to-toe with major multinationals. Zenon, in a very short period, silenced the competition and almost unilaterally determined the price of diesel in Nigeria. The competitors came to Zenon for supply. Femi Otedola, with the massive success Zenon Petroleum and Gas achieved, bought a 28.7% stake in African Petroleum. Otedola branched into the financial sector and aggressively stocked up the shares of leading financial houses. He became a top shareholder in Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and the largest importer of diesel in Nigeria. He acquired major shares of Africa's Finance Corporation, Mobile Oil Nigeria Limited, Chevron Texaco, and Visaphone. Otedola has his hands deep in real estate investments, including an acquisition in February 2007 by Zenon of Sterling House in Victoria Island, Lagos from the federal government. Lagos, London, Dubai, Monaco all have the signatures of FO Property Limited. He was appointed chairman of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja and tasked with driving its expansion and upgraded to a 7-star facility. Otedola has served as a member of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council since 2004. Was appointed by President Goodluck Jonathan to Nigeria's National Economic and Management Team. Otedola is chief executive and president of the Seaforth Shipping Company Limited and was at one point Nigeria's largest ship owner after extending control over the distribution of diesel products. One of his ships, a flat-bottom bunker vessel with a storage capacity of 16,000 metric tons, was the first of its kind in Africa. In January 2006, Otedola was appointed a non-executive director of Transnational Corporation of Nigeria PLC, a multi-sectoral conglomerate established in 2004 by then President Olusegun Obasanjo to respond to market opportunities requiring heavy capital investment in Nigeria and across sub-Saharan Africa. He held this post until February 2011. Otedola was appointed chairman and chief executive of African Petroleum in 2007 through the acquisition of controlling stake in the business. Following Otedola's entry into the company, African Petroleum's share price rose sharply, increasing the market capitalization from 36 billion to 217 billion naira in 6 months. In March 2009, Otedola became the second Nigerian after Aliko Dangote to appear on the Forbes list of dollar-denominated billionaires with an estimated net worth of $1.2 billion. Otedola announced a move to upgrade African Petroleum's liquefied petroleum gas storage terminals in Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt in October 2009. harsh economic conditions necessitated by the slump in the oil prices and credit squeeze of 2008-09 led African Petroleum to record a loss in 2009. With the world oil price crash came difficult moments for Zenon and Otedola. He was very close to complete bankruptcy.
I said to myself, I was not going to have friends and enemies. I was going to have only competitors. I had two options: commit suicide or weather the storm.
African Petroleum, rebranded in December 2010, changed its name to Fort Oil PLC. Otedola paid his near $1 billion debt and invested in the financial industry, making him a top shareholder in Zenith Bank and United Bank for Africa. Otedola restructured the business, focusing on technology and improved corporate governance. And in 2012, Fort Oil returned to profit. Otedola financed 57% of Fort Oil subsidiary, Amperion Limited, which acquired the 414 megawatt Geregu power plant for $232 million in 2013. Fort Oil improved financial position and diversification into power generation resulted in a 1,321% rise in its share price. The first half of 2014 saw the company's pre-tax profit more than double year on year to 4.1 billion naira. Revenue growth for the whole year was 33%. Fort Oil sold 70% of its equity to Swiss commodity trader Mercurial Energy Group in September 2015, giving Fort access to global commodity markets. The deal was thought to have given Otedola an estimated $200 million. In 2019, Femi Otedola sold Fort Oil PLC and announced plans to change focus from oil to power with his company, Geregu Power PLC. Geregu Power PLC became the first power generation company to list on Nigerian Stock Exchange, demonstrating to stakeholders in the sector how they can fix financing and make profits sustainably. The company's market capitalization is now 726.75 billion naira, and the share price now 290.7 naira from the 2.5 billion shares that were listed at 100 naira each. Otedola, the chairman of Geregu Power, sold down a Geregu stake to bring on institutional investors. In October 2021, Femi Otedola was announced as the single largest shareholder of First Bank PLC. FBN Holdings, the parent company of First Bank Limited, witnessed a commendable 437.9 billion naira surge in market capitalization. FBN Holdings appointed billionaire Femi Otedola as the new chairman of its board of directors, effective January 31st, 2024. Femi Otedola has had its share of controversies. Zenon was among the number of companies named in an alleged fuel subsidy scam report. This was followed by a case against Farouk Lawan for bribery. Otedola has also lost in the ever-evolving competing space of business acquisitions. Transcorp and Huheli Power Plant are two notable projects he closely bidded and lost. Femi Otedola philanthropy is quite remarkable. Otedola made a 300 million naira donation to the completion of the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja. In 2007, he gave 200 million to the State Security Trust Fund in a drive to reduce crime in Lagos. Donated 100 million naira to the Otedola College of Primary Education in Egbe. In 2008, he donated 80 million to the Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Port Harcourt. Femi Otedola pledged and redeemed $25,000 to the Super Eagles in the match against Algeria in 2019 AFCON. He gave all 750 students of Augustine University 1 million naira each. Femi Otedola sits comfortably on the Forbes billionaires list of top 20 richest people in Africa. Femi Otedola is married to Mrs. Nana Otedola and have 4 children: Olawumi Christy Tolani, Florence Ifeoluwa, Elizabeth Temi, and Fewa Otedola. Olufemi Peter Otedola is a standout as